Live.
Hi, welcome to News and Nonsense. I'm Aquia Jamfi, aka Auntie AK, aka the auntie of all aunties, and I'm here with.
I am Nana, aka the Black Fairy, aka Dark and Lovely.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to News and Nonsense. Now, News and Nonsense exists because the world is literally going to hell, and we thought we'd bring you the news our way. We'll dig through all the news and nonsense out there and give you our take on it. So we're here to help you separate the wheat from the chaff, the sap from the crap, what you need to know from what you don't need to know. Whilst you're here, what do they need to do, Nana?
You need to book the like button, please. All of you should know what on entry you come in, you press like, and then you get involved in the chat.
Yes.
Also, once you're in the chat, I will be adding in the membership link. It will be added in a minute. So please sign up. It's just $1.99 and you'll get an extra episode from the aunties every week, as well as we will be starting our membership lives as well. So please sign up. It helps the channel.
Yes, thank you. Welcome, 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 everybody. How are you all doing? Are you feeling good? The weather has been crap, literally crappy.
It has rained all day today.
All day. I think so. Definitely tomorrow's going to be rainy, and then Monday might be okay.
No, apparently tomorrow's fine.
I don't trust them. The weather machine is on. They want to flush out the carnival goers.
There is that. Yes, in the UK it is. Well, in London, I don't know about the rest of the country.
Yeah, that's true.
It has rained all day long. All day.
All day. It's not time for it yet. But okay, do you want to do a roll call or?
Yes, we have a new member, JA. Welcome to the family.
Yeah. Well, oh, what's my member song? Welcome, new members. Welcome, new members.
Okay. We have Waving Cat Designs. We have Sora in the house. Mercy is here. Ashes to Ashes. Yvonne White, who actually said she has been catching up on all the lives throughout the week. So thank you, Yvonne. Well, Aaliyah Shaw is in the house. Ria, Judy B, Ronald is well. Yay. And Ronald is here, and he says it's nice and sunny in Omaha.
Oh, Nebraska. Nowhere near Alaska.
No, it's in the Midwest.
It's in the Midwest. Is that not where Aunt Dorothy was from, the Wizard of Oz?
I thought she was from the Midwest.
Yeah, but was she from Omaha?
No, weren't it from Denver? Or have I made that up?
Someone help us. Where was Dorothy from in the Wizard of Oz? You win nothing, just let us know.
And C has joined us, saying hello
to
everybody.
Kansas, of course.
Kansas, that's it.
Hi. I just wanted to read my courses to Kansas. Anyhow. Okay, cool. Let's go. So our first story is our mission to convince. Thank you, CJS. Yes, it's Kansas. Is our mission to convert Nana into a Democrat. The DNC
never going to happen.
Never going to happen. Never. The DNC has been underway. What have been our thoughts? Have you watched it? Are you watching? It's been like a part. Where's she gone? It's been like a part. You've disappeared.
I don't know why it disconnected. All right, I've got to go out and come back. I'll be back.
Okay, well, I'll keep on talking. I mean, Nana knows what's going on. So I don't know who of you in the comments are watching the DNC. Have you been watching all the speeches, everything that's been going on? So officially, the 2024 Democratic National Convention was held. She's coming. She'll be back. Was held in Chicago from August 19th to the 22nd. It's just wrapped up. This is following President Biden's decision not to seek re-election. So now Vice President Kamala Harris has been named the Democratic nominee, and she's officially accepted the position with her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, as her running mate. So loads of speakers were involved in the session, in the convention. You had Barack Obama, you had Bill Clinton, you had Jill Biden. So many things was happening. People in the chat, did any of you watch it? Have any of you watched the speeches? Share your comments. Who's been watching? Yeah, Beyonce was never going to show, I think. I think that was one of those TMZ rumors. TMZ went back on its kind of fake news game, and they were like heavily reporting that the special guest would be Beyonce. But Beyonce did not make it. Nana is back. Yeah, I let her come back. So I gave them the overview of what happened. So we had the DNC convention held in Chicago, 19th and 22nd, to officially welcome Vice President Kamala Harris to be the Democratic nominee for president with her running mate, Tim Walz. So Have you been watching? There were loads of speeches. Michelle and Barack Obama's speeches were strong speeches. There were super cheers for Michelle, like she was a superstar.
Mate.
Listen, if Michelle Obama ran for presidency, it'd be a slew them.
Yeah, should win. But I mean, before Kamala came along and Joe stepped down and everything else, that's what everybody was saying.
Yeah.
That Michelle is the one that could absolutely obliterate Trump. And I
Yeah.
still think she is definitely, like, I think Kamala's going to win. But if Michelle ever was going to run, like, she's going to win so decisively. It would be amazing. It would be amazing to see that take place. But yeah.
It was her then her husband, like the way that it was just like a news reporters were like, it's like a memory of a throwback to the good old days. That energy in the room was wild.
Yeah.
And she said some good things. I mean, look, I guess we all know it's a bit of a circus, it's a bit of a puppet show, but what you need to galvanize the people are some superstars to talk the talk. And Michelle gave a very good speech.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. She's good. She's great at speeches, though, because like thinking of first ladies, I don't, in my recent memory, remember any first lady being great with speeches. Like I feel like maybe Nancy Reagan, but I was a kid, so
I don't really remember.
Just been watching things or responding to what was being said in my family. But I feel like I remember Nancy doing something. Okay. Obviously, we know Melania is absolutely terrible, and she just plagiarized a lot of what Michelle said.
Yeah.
But for public speaking, I feel like she's probably like the best.
She is.
Like, that she and don't you think actually she is maybe the new Oprah? Like if she galvanize people. If
she wanted to, she could. She could definitely just like she could literally do the Michelle show and kill it.
Yes. Because like Oprah, yeah, it was loud, but not crazy. Like I think Michelle was much, 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 much better.
Michelle probably had the best run. I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch everybody, so there might have been other. I mean, even Bill Clinton, he got a cheer, but not that much. Hillary got a good cheer. Hillary got a good cheer, but her speech was okay. Like not, the Democrats definitely had a good run of speakers. There were some really good speakers, and they definitely did what they needed to do to galvanize the people. And they had a great. Okay, can you get Jay Juniper's comment?
Okay. Jay Juniper says, I watched it. It's hard to be fired up about the Democrats when they're just as complicit in the genocide, but we have to defeat Trump. So if this what motivates the people to vote, so be it.
And that's where we're at. It's very hard to get. Yeah. You can get caught up in the circus of it. And then you're like, oh yeah, but
the reality of what it is exactly that. I agree with Jay. I still think that there are other ways to do this. I don't think you have to subscribe to the two-party tier at all. You can also go for independence, or you can also demand something or not vote. Like there's lots of different avenues. Yes, it doesn't have to be one or the other because they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, it is what it is. But according to we had music artists performing as well. Stevie Wonder, Pink, Common, John Legend and Sheila E. Lil Jon did a moment.
Lil Jon wasn't there.
Did he not perform there? But he did a turn down for what? He did a
whole thing. No, it's a comedian. There's a whole thing that was going round about this. It's not Little John. It's a comedian. I can't remember what his name is. It's Steve.
You know what? I was like
comedian Steve or something like that. What his name is, but it's actually a comedian that did all of that. It wasn't Little John.
Okay, well there, color me because do you know what? And it's so funny. I was looking at the guy's hair. It's like, when did Little John cut his locks and turn them blonde? But I thought, grown man turned old. I just assumed, okay, well, it wasn't Lil Jon. It was someone else. They used, I just wanted to check, like, because who is it? Beyonce's trying to sue or giving a cease and desist to Trump, and someone else, I think Celine Dion, had given a cease and desist to Trump using their tunes within the RNC convention.
Yeah.
But then John Legend and Sheila E. sang Let's Go Crazy, and Prince was very, very precious about his music. So I know the state probably let let it be used. But I'm just wondering if Prince, if he was alive today, would he have let his tune be used for Democrats or Republicans?
So interesting, because I feel like probably not from how he was. I think he's firmly more of an independent spirit.
Yeah.
But you never know, as people get older, he may have been convicted one way or the other. Who knows? Yeah. But I guess the thing with Sheila E is she seems to be able to do what she wants with Prince's music. So,
I mean, they do have the new power generation. They do perform, and then you've got a new like cover bands and stuff. The new power generation and Morris Day of the time, they still perform of that era. So I don't know, but I know the estate have changed things because, you know, Prince's music has been used for adverts, and I know he was staunchly against that.
Yes, yeah. Well, Jordan says Prince's attorney approved it. And, you know, there's lots of different theories in the conspiracy streets as to who actually aided him in dying, and it does seem to have a lot to do with the estate. So that type of shit don't mean anything to me. Like if an attorney says it, if a family member says it, really, you know, he's gone in it. They're going to use his shit how they're going to use it.
They are. It was just interesting when I heard it. I was like, because if you don't know, I'm a Prince fan. I was just thinking, I wonder what his royal purpleness is thinking up there or down there. We don't know where he is.
Wendy says an independent will never win because they are not on all of the ballot tickets in every state. That's why FDR Jr. quit
and joined Trump, right?
Sorry, I feel like my thing is going. FDR Jr. is this the Robert?
No, that's not. This is different. Franklin D. Roosevelt Jr. is different, or is it? Okay. I thought it was Robert Kennedy that Jr. that joined Trump. He dropped out as an independent.
He has dropped out. Yeah, that's who I thought she was referring to as well. Or is it RFK Jr.? I thought.
Yeah, he suspended his campaign and backed Trump. He's joined Trump. He did a speech at the RNC.
I couldn't get through. I don't know. There's something about his voice. I know he has a vocal cord damage and everything else, but it kind of grates on my ear. I was really trying because I wanted to hear his words on how and I couldn't get through it. I didn't get to a part where he actually says, I am now supporting Trump. Was that actually said?
I don't know. Hold on, let's get the BBC News up. BBC, he suspends his thing. Has joined the Republican nominee. He's been a Democrat most of his life. He, in quotes, compelled him to throw my support to President Trump. So, he said the decision is agonizing for me because of the difficulties it causes my wife and my children and my friends. Mr. Kennedy said on Friday, but I have the certainty that this is what I'm meant to do, and that certainty gives me internal peace, even in storms. He's married to Cheryl Hines, the star of HBO comedy Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah,
she said she respects her cousin husband's decision. Isn't he the one that said he kind of had a bear in his garden or something like that? He left a bear for dead or something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But anyway, yes.
But yes, he has been disowned by his family from before anyway. Yeah. But I'm interested to see where he takes it, because usually I've watched him on a few people's pods and I've actually found him quite compelling as much as I can listen to him for. Like what he talks about, it is kind of interesting, and this is an interesting stance for him to be backing Trump. I am like, why would you not support another independent? Like, it just feels like he's been got. I don't like it either way.
Yeah, I mean, it's the point. They're all scrambling, isn't it? Maybe it's throwing money at the highest bidder because they need somebody to back. Like, because Trump is spiraling a little bit because he's having rants. He's going
absolutely spiraling.
So during Kamala Harris's Democratic National Convention speech, Donald Trump launched a series of angry posts and calls. He posted 48 times on his Truth Social network during Harris's 37-minute speech, criticizing her performance and comments. Then he called into Fox News. I couldn't find a clip that was concise enough, but he called into Fox News twice and was just rambling about anything to the point that he was cut off by the hosts. He's called her a Marxist, probably going to lead the country into nuclear World War III. He continues to insist he's got nothing to do with Project 2025. And he said that she wants to open the borders and let everybody in. He has been going on. So apparently even his supporters are kind of expressing concern, but you don't want to take anything for granted. all of this is all part of the circus, but Trump is stressed because he's not popular anymore.
Yes.
You know, people are starting to pick apart his insults. It's boring now. Yes, we know this. Yes, Kamala this, Kamala that. But what are your points now?
It's like, what's the policies? What are you actually standing for? Because you can't just keep on poking fun, which is, he could have done that with Joe Biden. He could literally have just spent his time just saying, like, he's senile. He's senile, the same way that he was doing that with Hillary. Like, she's a criminal. She's a criminal. Now you're the criminal. And so it's like, he doesn't seem to have any other points other than questioning her race, as he always does. He always has to look at that type of thing. Is she really an American? It's all the same talking points. We've been there already. Exactly. So what's your new trick? Like, what's your new thing that's going to get people going? And he hasn't found that yet. So it's
and he needs to have, because now he's the oldest candidate in the runnings, so there's also that, and he needs to change his words. Do you know what I was saying? You know what I'm thinking? That RFK reminds me of Connor Roy from The Succession. So you know, he's the kind of quirky son that's not really respected, but he ran was running for office. So it just because in the comments they're saying that he was off. He said that he'd endorse Kamala for a position in the Democrats, but they ignored him. So he went to well, ignored him, maybe didn't see or declined him.
I mean, even if he was up for, I will throw my support to any one of you guys if you give me something, is actually disgusting. That's exactly what the Liberal Dems did. And it's like, what do you actually stand for then? If you're prepared to be on anybody's side, if they'll have you, like, what do you stand on as an independent? How are people really supposed to trust you when you're up for the highest bidder, basically? It's like, oh, that's gross.
Exactly. That's not, it's not something to get behind. So no, I don't think this is a great endorsement. I don't know. Anyone, Jordan, those of you in America, how does it look having RFK back the Republicans? Is it making a difference? Do people care? Is he respected? Because I know he just seemed a bit quirky and kooky. So let us know in the comments.
I think he definitely was. He had respect. He definitely can do things. Like, his videos are watched quite a lot. Like, he does have a movement. He has gravitas, but you have to have gravitas that means something. You can't just like shift either way. Like, if Kamala was like, oh yeah, we'll have you, like, you go back that way. It's what does that say for you if you're easily bought? So
this is it, because I think, like, with an independent, you even though an independent is independent, you kind of assume that they're slightly left leaning because you want change, or maybe you're centrist in a way that you're a bit more fair. So you would not expect them to go far right. Do you know what I mean? Like, it seems like that seems wildly weird to do if you're an independent that wants change for the world and make the world a better place. I would think you couldn't be bought, or you'd be a bit more left leaning and then say, look, I'll endorse the left, but you have to really take into consideration ABC. So it's a bit of a weird one.
I wouldn't even say it would be left leaning, because I do think that there are very few places in the world that actually are left leaning at all.
No, I get that. I'm just saying,
a Republican Party that was more central, and then I would be able to understand him being like, okay, I could go that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Going so far,
it doesn't make sense to go to the far right. And in the same way, it's still like you've railed against the Democrat Party as well. So you should stay firm in, I'm an independent for a reason. I can be a part of your cabinet, then I'll change. It's like, what the heck is that?
That means it's a lie, but that's why it reminds you of Connor. Because
but Connor couldn't even, I mean, he can't talk very well either. Maybe they are the same.
It's definitely giving Succession, the whole thing. So just some ratings. Here are the TV ratings so far. This was like a couple of days, so didn't get the last day. But for the DNC, 20 million viewers on day one, RNC 18 million. Day two, DNC 20, RNC 14. Day three, DNC 20, RNC 18. And the final day was Trump got 28.4 million. I don't know how much Kamala got.
Oh, I saw. She peaked at 29.
Oh, so she just said
it was both very high figures for their speeches. I couldn't even get through most of the RNC stuff. I was literally like, it was the most boring, depressing show ever. I don't even know how the people was in there. been sleeping. Like it was just like, oh god, this is dry. I mean, definitely the DNC like appealed to my sensibilities. It
Yeah.
felt like a huge party, but I don't know.
Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. But I don't know. Like again, people in America, what's the mood? Because over here it's saying what we're seeing is that Kamala has a slight lead. It's not a lead to take for granted, but a slight lead.
Mm.
So
Yeah, yeah,
what's the crack?
that's what I was reading up on as well.
Yeah.
It seems that, and obviously you can't always go by the polls
No.
anyway at this stage. The heavy criticism just seemed to be that she hasn't done any interviews.
Interviews.
That seemed to be a big thing. I would say for me, her within her speech and the way she spoke about Israel, I was actually disgusted. And then even when she topped it up, like literally she said, we will ensure that Israel has the right to defend itself at any cost. And it's like, okay, that's very scary.
Mm.
But then you're talking about a ceasefire and that you say it's really sad, the loss of life in Gaza, but you're not talking about the amount of children that have been killed and are being killed every single day compared to 1,000 people dying. That's still a tragedy.
But
and
not
hostages, but it's not in comparison to the 20,000 hostages that they know are within Israeli camps.
Yeah.
So it's not the same. You can't call this a war. They don't even have the same artillery to call it a war. They're literally just being genocided. And that to me is more paramount for foreign policy as somebody that is outside of the country. That's the person who potentially could be president is no different to Trump's stance on foreign policy as well. It's exactly the same. Their domestic policies are very different for sure.
But international, global.
But if they cause this, it's like you're basically having another generation of people that are going to rail against the West.
Yeah.
So when are we going to have
peace? That war is never going to end. And for whatever, if it's money, power, whatever, if we say it's money and power, that's never going to end. So that this is the thing when we talk about black people in power, like taking it up these reins. Maybe this is why Michelle's so anti it. Maybe she's like, there's no way, because I know I can't. Maybe she's got too much integrity to even consider, because you know there's only so much you can do. Because it's like, yes, we have representation. Yes, we have black people that give it the illusion of power. But if you know when you get into into the cabinet room and you get into that room and you get shown the dossier of what you can and can't do, and it's like, is it too like what are you helping? Visual representation, so we can say I have a dream and yes, I can achieve great heights, or this is shit. Let me quit today because I don't want that. And can you quit? Can you even stop it?
No, I think once it's an institution. So
I get it. But I'm saying
part of the institution, you have to uphold it. So I would think anybody that is affiliated with it in the same way like Michelle actually is, you're upholding the institution. Although Oprah is registered as an independent, she still was there speaking at the DNC. Yeah. So really, you're a part of the institution. You're upholding all of the values that this institution has, and all of them are doing that. When Kamala's talking about what she's going to be doing for Americans, she's talking about a middle class. What about the working class people? What about the working force? Everybody always talks about this middle, like the majority aren't actually at the lower ends of this. It's the same thing. You have Trump talking about, I want to take away your rights with flipping Elon Musk. This one's talking about, we're going to prop up the middle classes. So she's not talking about the billionaires, but it's the same. It's the same thing. What about the ordinary person that is struggling? What are you going to do for them? And that's worldwide, because you literally are the world's police. So if you're only thinking about the middle classes and how they maneuver, what about the people who are living below the poverty lines? What about all of that?
No, that's where they talk about the aid and the support and keeping them on benefits. That's what they do over here. Jordan Parker is saying, is England pressing Israel for a ceasefire? Because
that's all they're pressing for, is a ceasefire. That's it. But in the same way, the UK is holding exactly the same line as our cousins, that Israel has the right to protect itself, and we will support them by any means.
Yeah.
So
England's just up, as we said, America coughs, UK sneezes, or whatever the case is, or
yeah,
catches the cold, whatever the
it's
saying is.
exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like they're going on like this isn't all constructed, like they all weren't a part of this when they handed them Palestine to have Israel there,
Yeah.
because they didn't want the Jews in Europe and the West. So they gave them their own homeland. Like it's not like they were doing this out of the goodness of their hearts to Jewish people. Like actually, no, they needed that. They literally just didn't want the problem. So
Yeah.
and it helped them with their lines and power and oil to have a set ally in the Middle East. And they'll do the same. They're doing the same in Africa.
Yeah.
It's like it's the same thing. It's the same MO. So it's bullshit.
So, guys, how do you feel? Are you voting? Have you have the conventions, RNC and DNC, strengthened your opinion either way? Have made you feel more ridiculous? I think I saw a comment further up that said, Jay Juniper said, I think this election is really opening people's eyes that politics is a farce. The Biden administration is actively aiding Israel, and here go Kamala is in ceasefire talks. Serious girl, what? So, yeah.
I think so. I think people are opening their eyes. I don't know though, because I still think we're all hopeful that there is some hope that comes along, like there's some leader that changes things, and it's like it's the institution of it is not for everybody. There is only ever going to be a small percentage of people that win in the way the world is set up.
Yeah, and benefit from.
Yeah. So even if they give you even if, you know, it's like I was seeing so many people talking about the student loans and getting their student loan debt forgiven, and that's a farce in itself. Like education shouldn't cost as much as it does.
It shouldn't be a debilitating debt that you can never pay off.
And so you shouldn't be
after they encourage you to go to higher education, and they encourage you, they make it difficult for you to get a job these days without having a degree. But then you're going to make people be in never-ending lifelong debt, and then the forgiving of it. And that's the thing. That's the trick, isn't it? Because to be fair, my student loan comes out. I don't care because it's out. It's with my tax. I'd rather stop taxing me. I pay back my student loan in a heartbeat. Stop taxing me so much. Do you know what I mean? Like
it's the biggest farce. It's the turn of hand. It literally is. You know, it's like what they do when they've stolen everything. They've stolen all of the artifacts, and then they say we're going to loan it back to you.
Loan it back.
And then we should be grateful for that. Nobody should be celebrating getting their student loan forgiven. You shouldn't have to be paying that shit off like that anyway. Look how much money is given in taxes. Education should be free. Yeah. You have countries around the world where you can have a world-class education and it's free. Mm-hmm. How can you be calling yourself a superpower and people are getting in debt to be educated?
Exactly.
That's utterly ridiculous. And
at the end of the education, you can't afford to work. You can't even work it off. There are no jobs.
You may actually die before you finish paying that debt.
Listen, I don't even know what I swear I've made it. And you know what's fun? Speaking about the UK, when I was studying, what was so annoying is that I had to take out full loan. I couldn't say I just need a little bit. Because I had a daughter, because I was a single mother studying. From what I remember, I had to. It was like you had tiers, but you have to. So they force you to take the most amount.
Yes, yeah. No, it's exactly like that.
Yeah.
When did you come back in? Because you came back in after you had a child. That's so.
Yes, I was like
20. That period of time when there was the free higher education.
I missed it.
It's such an. I think I was maybe 2 years off of that when I was going to university. I was one of the first ones where it was lower, and it was basically $9,000 to go. Now to think, in how many years is that? What's that? 20 odd years later. Their debt is almost £40,000.
Imagine it, mind-blowing.
In 20 years, your education is exactly the same. There is nobody any smarter that has gone to university than when we were going to university. A whole generation of people got university educated for free. Then it went up to 10,000, and now these guys are coming out with debt at 40K, and it's going up every year as well.
Listen to me now. the way that education is set up, they are dumbing them down as well.
Yes.
Education is not like back in the day. They don't even use books again. And I don't want to sound like an old auntie, but I am a generationally old auntie. Education is not, even when my daughter was in high school like 15 years ago or so, it's terrible. The way I used to have to go to the school and like, can you teach my child properly, please? Jennifer says,
Show 13 precisely. Education is too much of a big business in the US to be free, just like healthcare.
Yeah, they keep us.
It's disgusting that it is though, because this is all of our lives, and that you have people that will take like your livelihoods, how you thrive in society, and turn it into a business. It shouldn't just be like this is okay.
It's
Like
not.
we literally should all be fighting against these things. Like, no, this can't be okay. We shouldn't just be accepting it.
But Jennifer says, still voting though, speaking as a Black working class American woman, Trump cannot win. Project 2025 is very real and it's terrifying. We don't have the option to opt out of the election. I mean, I get it. The stakes are high. And as we said, it's a slow walk or a jog to the end of the world, basically.
Yeah. And I think that's a valid decision if you so choose to.
Yeah.
The same as it would be a valid decision for somebody to say that there is nobody on that ballot that is representing me and I'm choosing to abstain from being a part of this. And I would hope that they would also have other steps in their thing, like actually, so you're railing against voting, but you're also trying to free yourself from the system in some way as well. Like you can't just do I'm not voting and then you still are a part of the society, and there has to be steps that you are actively then seeking to remove yourself in some ways.
Yeah, you have to be doing something, because you can't just be apathetic. I'm not voting because of that. That's also not helpful.
No. And there was another thing that she said about her mum telling her not to. It's like, don't complain about injustices, but you fight against it. There's a way that she said it. Maybe Ronald would have noted this, but when she first starts her speech and she talks about her mum quite a lot.
Yeah.
And it just felt like this is what a lot of conservatives say, actually. Like, all you guys do is complain about the injustices against you. But there has to be a level of complaining and protest that causes change. There was a way that she said it that just sounded like, shut up. But also, you shouldn't accept it. And it's like, that's complaining, no? You don't accept, you should speak up when something is an injustice.
I guess it's all that speak, because a lot of them, what did I watch? A clip, something like kind of Manscaped, they all talked about being from a small town, always from a small town. I'm from a small town. Everyone like I'm down home, local neighbors, family, friends. We all just said hello to each other, we're all in it together. So there's that, like, we're all down home people. And I can't remember what I saw the skit, and the guy was like, yeah, well, I'm from a big city. We have morals too. So don't just speak to one set of people. One set of people doesn't mean to say that you're more fair and nice just because you know who your neighbor is. Do you know what I mean? So some of that, but there's always a theme, because the theme was joy. The theme was being down home and about community unity and stuff like that. They always have themes for these things. So they're like, it's the brainwash, isn't it? Starts to speak. Don't complain. Get up off your ass. Vote. Do something. That was the phrase. Do something.
That was it. It was never complain about injustice. Just do something about it.
Yeah, because I think
I need that explained to me. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
like it's those double speaks. Like, never complain. No, we must complain. We must protest.
You have to keep hearing our voices.
Yes, we must literally like go against the grain, but never complain. Like, shut up, accept it, but do something about it. How else do we do something about it?
Yeah, it's wild. Okay, we shall keep you updated on what happens next. What's the DNC, news or nonsense?
It was news for setting the tone of what what she's going to be campaigning on. Like, it was good to see, actually, and hear, and but I wasn't inspired at all. I literally was like, okay, here we are, same old okie doke. But nice to see that there was lots of black folks getting paid to sing and dance and rap. It was just like, okay.
Sing and dance and rap. It was definitely news. Good to hear what everyone's got to say. And do you know what? I've got two minds. There was the black mind that was like, oh my God, it's Michelle, it's there. Great speeches, enjoyed that. I like pomp and ceremony. And then there's the third eye mind that's like, okay, where do we go from here? What's going to happen next? So let's see. All right.
This election is nonsense.
Okay, the election is, yeah. We're bringing the news of the nonsense that's going on, I think.
Chef 13 says, let's pray for our holistic practitioners like Dr. Sebi, because Big Pharma is watching. I mean, they're killing them off.
I mean, they're ridiculing everything they're saying. You can't, listen.
Ezra Sprout says, collectivist values also don't belong only to rural areas or small towns.
Exactly.
States and trade unions have plenty.
Exactly. So this small town thing, I mean, again, this is like, they're just trying to show that we're from humble beginnings. We're from simple, humble beginnings. We're just like you. You know, we're just like you. You could open your door and see a Kamala walking down the street. Open a door and then you see Tim Watson, you know, coaching your son football game. Do you know what I mean? So they're trying to really reinforce the fact that we're just like you.
And it's like, yes, I guess people start off that way.
You've gone again.
Keep on happening.
What's happening?
I don't know what this is. Okay, carry on. I'll be back.
Okay. So I'm going to go through some of you lot's comments. Ronald says, I was inspired. Conventions are usually pep rallies for the party bases. Yep, definitely get that. Jordan saying in response to Share 13, so true. Great thing on the West Coast. Weed is legal. Listen, I am waiting for it to come over to the UK. We're not allowed to have weed. It's not legal yet. I think there are a few dispensaries but CBD, nothing like no THC involved. But I really would I don't even smoke anymore. I smoked when I was younger. When I was in my teens, I stopped when I had my daughter because I wanted to.
I'll try not to.
We were talking about weed being legal in the UK.
Oh, you know that, last time I was speaking to somebody about it, I think we're maybe 3 years off.
Yeah, I think that's what I was saying. I think it's coming. I think we do have this dispensaries, but it's CBD, no THC involved. So we have those kind of CBD oils and gummies, which don't do anything, in my opinion. And I was just saying, I used to smoke, but yeah, being in LA, when I went to LA, I was like, wow. And being in New York, having been able to get some gummies. I don't smoke anymore because I don't want the stuff on my chest, but of an occasion, are we allowed to say that? Yeah, forget. Of an occasion, a gummy might be nice.
Yeah. No, it's definitely coming.
Yeah.
And there are loads of people positioning themselves for when those contracts land and everything else. And so it's going to happen here.
But again, I'm wondering if they're going to do the same as what's happened in America, where all the black people have been priced out of the contracts or have been blocked from getting contracts. And I wonder in the UK, which I'm sure they're not going to do, every single black or anyone who's been in jail for marijuana offenses needs to be released.
Yeah, you know that ain't happening. They are not doing that. Why is my dodgy ice cream man coming down the street at 10 to 9?
Is that what that noise is? I thought it was a mobile or something.
No, the dodgy ice cream van.
At this time of night?
You know what he's selling.
Allegedly. I don't know who he is. Anyway, was it New Jersey has dispensaries and Wawas? What's Wawas?
Oh, Wawas.
A Wawas. Wawa.
That sounds cool.
Wawa. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see. But also, do you know what? There's something about... I know it's a money-making scheme, the legalization of weed. Something about it being government sanctioned doesn't sit with me either. Something about the government being involved in the legality of weed and keeping us high or allowing us to be high. Something there's a reason behind it.
Oh, okay. Like, I guess with alcohol as well. Like,
yeah.
Yes. Just as to create a new emerging market, definitely.
And a numbing of society.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Wawa.
I thought 24-hour convenience store was a bodega. I've never heard Wawa in my life.
At all. No, but I thought bodegas just closed. No, ain't bodegas just those shops where they sell a little bit of food as well, like specifically kind of Spanish areas. Thought that was a bodega.
I think, I don't know if they're just in Spanish locales, but a bodega to me is like our version of a corner shop. And the more that they have bits and bobs is, oh, that's just only in New York.
Wawa is huge.
Oh, is Wawa a brand?
So maybe that's more like our kind of Asda or Tesco because they're
Or,
24 hours.
Or like Cost Cutter, maybe.
No, because that's just a 9 to 6. They close early.
Well,
Oh no, Cost Cutter. Yes,
yeah. Okay, I never heard of. Do they have Wawas in New York or Miami? I've never seen one before.
You've got to notice them. It's a chain store. Okay. Next time when we go, we'll start looking out.
Oh my God, I can't wait to go to America and touch base with some of you guys. That'd be so wild.
Yes, definitely.
Anyway, all right, let's move on to the next story because we are going to be here till midnight. Next one, are you going to take it or should I continue?
What is it?
The BBC.
Okay, yes. So the BBC, I mean, this is conflicting. All right, so yes, the BBC presenter, he is called Jermaine Janis. He's been sacked. Have we got a picture?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get his picture up.
Yes, Jordan, Miami is 7-Eleven. That's true.
Okay, I've got his picture now. I see him so you guys can see who this guy is that has literally just destroyed his life.
We did ask the BBC to fire quickly.
we did. All right, so this dude has been sacked, yeah. He has had his job for like 4 years so far from retiring as a footballer. He's a presenter. And he has been sacked now from Match of the Day and The One Show for sending inappropriate texts to various women who then sent it over his texts to producers. And it seems like it was a very swift sacking. As soon as it was kind of investigated, he seems to have been sacked. Now, loads of people are like, this is out of order because for one, like it seems to just be set, it's text messages. And it's infidelity against his wife. It doesn't seem, they don't think it warrants him getting sacked from his jobs because of this. And because he's black, I think he's mixed.
He's mixed. Right?
Like they've done this really swiftly to the black person compared to Hugh Edwards, who was basically like, you know, investigated for ages before he got sacked and still paid. And then you have the lifetime shits that all of the other PDF people were doing as well. Like Savile. So are we happy that the BBC have done it, or is it that this is out of order because it's a black man and they seem to have sacked him very quickly?
Is this news or nonsense? I was conflicted because literally my boys, I'm in a little group and my boys were like saying like, for them as men, this is wild. And one of my friends was saying, is like literally when he goes into spaces, he stays aloof because he's like, he said, obviously, maybe man shouldn't be cheating or doing whatever he's doing. But if you're going to get sacked for texts, there's no, you know, and to be fair, the story hasn't been expanded. So we don't know how detailed or how explicit these texts were. But as you know, Jermaine first says that, you know, these were texts between consenting adults. Yeah. So there's a great
and no touch, like nothing.
No touch. It's
physical took place. Yeah. No, just texting.
And again, we'll say just texting because we don't know. He's saying that it was consenting adults. They say that they were explicit to colleagues. Who knows what he was saying and what? Do you know what I mean? So I don't know about this suspending. Suspension's fine while you investigate it. But also, should you be fired for inappropriate texts? And what's the scale?
It feels a little bit harsh to me.
It's like knee jerk.
For a second, like I don't know. It just feels like, come on, it's texting. Okay, let's say he was texting even like dick pics.
Yeah,
is that sackable?
But this sending anatomy, is illegal now because that could. I mean, and again, it's like this is when people complain about D&I and diversity, but I think it's a knee-jerk reaction, but again, without knowing the content of the text and without knowing whether it was a consensual back and forth, there's a gray area. So if you got text from a colleague and we don't know how many were sent at this point. So if you got text from a colleague that you're not, say, let's go to the extreme, you're not attracted to, they're texting you, yeah, you sexy bitch. I don't know, saying all the things that are explicit, nasty in text and coming onto you and multiple times, and you take it to HR, what would you expect to be done about it?
Yeah, then I would expect you to be sacked. Yeah,
exactly.
Real.
Yeah. So if that's what's happened, that's what's happened.
So maybe it's the way it's being reported then, because they're not saying it was harassment.
No.
So it just feels like this is really heavy-handed for if it is inappropriate text messages with a colleague. Yeah, it really depends, because then I feel like you've got to say it was harassment.
But no, but not because again, what's the problem here is that one, this has happened and it was announced. He was instantly removed from his role, so then it's going to be spoken about. Because ideally, this story wouldn't even be out until there's a bit more facts. But because it happens while he was live on air on his job, and then the announcement came through. Then he's like removed from his job. Now he's lost all positions. It's something that you can't necessarily. That's why all the articles don't have much to it. So obviously, when it goes to court, if it goes to court, because apparently he said he's seeking legal representation. So whatever happens, but the thing is, if they haven't gone to court also, because it says he's seeking, so he's not being taken to court. He's not on trial. He's not been, you know what I mean? He's not been arrested. So that you're right, actually, without the accusation of indecent harassment or something. Again, I don't know the legal speak. These women just, in quotes, reported it to production. Do they go to HR?
This is, I mean, sometimes people will literally just crash their livelihoods, but I feel like there needs to be more details. Obviously, you know, him apologizing to his wife, valid. This is a personal thing, isn't it? You've gone against your own marriage, but that's still, I don't see how you'd lose your job for this. It does feel heavy-handed. I don't know. Maybe it is a knee-jerk after Hugh Edwards, and it's a bit like we've just got to stamp this stuff out.
I mean,
I'm not sure.
Ronald says we don't know what he's done before and been warned about. Could be that. There could be that. Because he said, you know, as he always says, I'm seeking therapy, I'm going to counselling. He's been married to his woman, Ellie Penfield, for 13 years, and they have 4 children. So, and he said it is cheating, absolutely cheating. But I go, this is the thing. Believe women, isn't it? At the point, you know what I mean? Like, what's happening? Is it believe women? It could be a vendetta that someone could be pissed off, or he's got a dirty past or a habit, and he's disgusting.
Yeah, and it's coming to light. I mean, it literally could be all of those things. But I think to lose all of your jobs the way he has, we needed more details. And by all accounts, it's like he was touted to be like the next one up.
Yeah,
like it was going to be him, like Gary Lineker's position.
Yeah,
like, so you've absolutely lost probably like $250,000 coming into your house every year.
Yeah, because he was getting, oh god, I had the money as well. He was making buku. Because they don't reveal how much one show or something doesn't show, but he was getting like a couple of $100,000 a year.
Yeah,
for the 2 shows. So
and somebody just said so he's lost his job at 5 Live as well.
Yeah, so you've lost 3 roles, and the one show's prime time, BBC Sport prime time. One show like 5 Live Sports, like come on, he must be sitting at home like what the. And if I was his wife, I'd be punching him up. He would be gone out the house. But yeah, I don't know. I think
Ronald's asking the next one, like Jonathan Majors. Yeah, that type of like who's gonna get there. Yeah. I mean, there's only so many top spots in the UK anyway, and Gary Lineker basically holds it for sports.
Yeah,
and because Gary does a lot, he talks a lot. This guy was positioned to be like, okay, people like him. He has the gravitas. He could now be the next anchor. And you've just crashed your whole career.
So, but we firmly there's an element of you cheated. You were cheating.
That's how it's been presented in most of the papers.
He's admitted it. He's admitted it.
He's done his interview. He's crying. He's done what they usually will you out to do. And it seems like, yes, you were cheating.
Yeah.
Now we need to hear how inappropriate was you being with your colleagues, and how
Yeah.
many people was you sending shit to? What was you sending? And we need all of those, all of that.
We need all that information. But if he doesn't go to court and doesn't go to trial or anything like that, then you've lost your job on a conversation. Like, because there's also ABC. I worked at the BBC. You get a warning, you get this, you get that, you get maybe, I think, 3 goes of it. Again, I guess depending on how serious this is as well. So not to take that into, not to discount that. So this has to, in my opinion, this has to be super serious.
I would think,
because you can't just do that.
Yeah, to lose your job like that, but maybe let's see.
It has to be.
Maybe he has been doing nonsense for a long time.
Yeah, maybe this was it, because this is wild.
But yes, those are the bits though. People are really being like, is this unfair to the black man? So I don't know.
I mean, this is the thing. I wonder if even is his missus black? Does he identify as black? Does he, how, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We
it's true, it's true.
If he starts Black Lives Mattering, I don't know what his position has been in life. I'm actually, to be fair, as a whole auntie, I'd never seen him before in my life, or never heard of him before in my life. I don't watch.
No, same actually, but I don't watch the one show.
No, me neither.
It's dry as hell. But no, I don't know who he is. I don't.
So I actually had never seen him before. So, oh well.
I don't know this man.
I don't know you. Well, speaking of men who, shall I say this? This might be a bit too controversial. Well, speaking of laws that intervene with men's ability to control themselves, possibly, I don't know. The Taliban have locked in their morality laws that have caused ripples across the world because of how restricted it leaves Afghan women. Oh, by the way, that story before was nonsense because I think there's not enough information.
Yeah.
And yes, Yvonne, you're no surprises there. So the Taliban has officially enacted a 35-article morality law formalizing various restrictions, particularly those affecting women, that have been informally enforced since their return to power in 2021. So these laws, rooted in the Taliban's interpretation of Islamic Sharia law, have drawn widespread condemnation from the international community and human rights organizations for their severe impact on women's rights and freedoms. So some of the laws, there's a lot. Some of them are: women are required by law now to wear a burqa or a niqab to fully cover their bodies and faces. They are not allowed to drive or obtain a driver's license. They are prohibited from traveling without a male guardian. Girls are barred from attending high school and universities. Women's rights in divorce and child custody are extremely limited. Women are largely banned from most forms of employment, particularly in public and governmental roles, discouraged from appearing in public spaces without a valid reason. And then when they are in public, they have to wear their dress code. They're prohibited in participating in most forms of entertainment, cinemas, cultural events, and they're not allowed to play sports. And all the violations of these laws are met with like a range of penalties, verbal warnings, confiscation of property, detention in jails, and potentially harsher punishments. Women in professional roles such as lawyers and teachers and doctors face significant obstacles, with many of them going to have to leave their professions. Women's access to healthcare is severely restricted because they have to go with a man to receive treatment.
Yeah.
And then female health professionals facing limitation on how they practice. Wider laws: there's no playing of music in cars. Banning the publication of images containing living beings. I don't understand that. Men have to grow beards and are barred from shaving. They have to adhere to strict prayer and fasting obligations. Men are not allowed to interact with women who are not immediate family members unless absolutely necessary. So, obviously, lots of human rights organizations, including Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, have labeled the Taliban's policies as a form of gender apartheid. The segregation of women from public life and their confinement to the home is seen as discriminatory and oppressive. Do we have the right to talk about this as non-Afghan people, as non-followers of Sharia law, not being legally bound by Sharia law? Can we have an opinion that's fair?
Yeah, can I have an opinion just as a human being who wouldn't want to live under this regime and would hope that the world wouldn't have abandoned them. And basically, so many people lost their lives for freedom under the guise of we are here to to help you, and
Yep.
we are going to free you from this oppression. And as soon as the going got tough and they had pillaged the land of everything that they wanted to take from it, they left them to this regime to come into being.
Come
And
back
so
into being.
it's actually, it's crazy. And again, these are the people that we've been sitting down talking about electing.
Yeah.
They did this.
Yeah.
They allowed this regime to take over again after 20 years fighting and people believing in the West that they would actually have
Same.
their freedoms.
Yeah.
It's actually disgusting. I feel so sorry for them. Like, you've gone through a whole war,
A
and
20-year war.
back
Yeah.
to a regime that literally just oppresses. It's not even just the women. Everybody is oppressed.
Everybody
has freedoms. Like,
yeah.
it's like the men don't have freedoms either.
No. But
it's horrible. It hurts my heart.
I saw a comment that said, "I'm so thankful for where I was born," because imagine
all it is. That's literally it. It's like that's why when people talk about immigrants and refugees and asylum seekers, and it's with no empathy. Like, you have a right to your freedom. All it is you were born in a place that doesn't have the same regime. That's it.
That's
and literally it. That's the only difference. We have done nothing for this. None of us are fighting. We're not doing anything. But literally all we have to do is just walk to the end of a block and put a paper in, and that's it. Right. It could have been very different. We could be somewhere else fighting for our rights to just be able to put on makeup.
To put on makeup and have autonomy over our bodies. And listen, as Shares 13 said, aunties, how did you get hold of Project 2025? This is what. And then the thing is, and that's where I was saying, as us in the West, I mean, I'm not siding with this law or anything like that. I'm not enacting anything against anyone else. But however, us in the West have relatively a lot more freedom. But then, who are we to criticize when this stuff is coming in a different way? They're slowly turning off our rights. So who knows in 10, 20 years if we're not going to be similar to Afghanistan? Yeah. Who knows?
I mean, it can happen. It definitely can happen. It's just I think it's the hypocrisy of starting something in the guise of we are going to free this nation and give them democracy and and all you was basically doing was taking their resources.
But
and
also,
it wasn't in your interest, financial interest, to be in that territory anymore. You left people to a regime that you were saying we are going to war against, and they're back there. So why are you not back there then? The world.
Well, this is the next conversation, because every new presidency needs a war. So which angle, which war is going to be? What are they going to take up? Also, they were motivated to go into Afghanistan before because of September 11. So under whether you believe that it really was terrorist or it was in-house, whatever the case, the brainwash was Osama bin Laden came for them, and now we're going back for them, and we're going to free the people.
You didn't do it.
And then it also for kerfuffle, which is what, to be fair, is what the West always does. Causes a kerfuffle in other people's countries, and when it gets too hard to politicize it back home to galvanize votes as well. Aside from the money and the power stuff that goes on over there and resources that they're stealing, when it comes too difficult to we can't have this on our ballot or a campaign slogan, we have to get rid of it. So we're going to pull out. So that was what it was. They used that. We're coming out to stop America being in the war or stop the UK being in part of the war. We're coming out now. We're good guys. We're the good guys. We've set it up and we're going to leave them alone. We know our people don't want us to be at war anymore. Bring our troops home.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't actually think it is about a permanent occupation was needed to secure their rights.
No.
When you go into even lots, there is so much out there that debunks that theory that it was you would need to be there forever. What they were doing there wasn't actually fighting a lot anyway. So it's it is bring our troops home, because why are you there basically looking at buildings and their resources and their oil. Like, you're supposed to be freeing people. That wasn't taking place.
And also, what were you doing to help the country be stabilized? You were just bombing and fighting. What would you've got troops that have come home with PTSD and lost all sorts, troops that were out there who are doing all sorts of harm. Because I mean, there are quite a few stories coming out about what has happened, what was happening to the indigenous people of those countries, where Western soldiers were doing all sorts, rape, all the sorts, and more. So they didn't need to be in there permanently occupied. Because also, you're going into a country with people that who are even looking at the troops who've signed up. How trained are they? They're trained to kill. They're not trained to nurture. They're not trained to educate. They're not trained to rebuild. They're trained to annihilate and kill on the behalf of the country that they're out there for. These people aren't people that you need to be occupying any kind of country. They're trained to see them, the native people, as the enemy. That's why the specter of a terrorist doesn't go away from today. No, man, you can't.
I agree. Like, we can't fight for everyone everywhere.
Exactly.
That's what's been going on. That's literally the problem. That's the problem that goes on around the world, and then causes other problems to take place as well. And now you have these regimes that are spreading everywhere, and we can still talk about it. It's still inhumane. There were people that were educated, that had jobs within those 20 years, who are now not in those roles anymore.
Imagine like, and how do you, because just alone, because people, I saw the conversation about all these laws that are like making women deeming to be like vixen harlots that are just tempting men with their face, and they're so evil, and the men don't get held accountable. But it's not as simple as that, because it's bound by religion as well, and in doctrine and dogma. I don't know.
Yeah, but it is psychopathic as well, because what is the essence of being a human? Where is your freedoms that within this dogma that you've created and assigned it to and put it as like, this is religion, that the wonder and splendor of any God's creation now has to be shrouded in man-made fibers. Like, this is what some God would want. Like, there are no other animals in this realm that has this going on, but for some reason, this is what God would have prescribed to us, is that you need to be covered from head to toe. And
we were born naked. Why aren't we born with clothes? Or, like, do you know what I mean? Born with something, come out of a little shell or something. Oh God, I've lost my train of thought. There was something I was going to say when you said that. Oh, maybe it'll come back to me.
Jordan says, if I were president, I would close the borders and support no other country. The money given to Israel could educate a generation.
Do you know what? When you're talking about closing the borders for real, if everybody, and that, for me, my bias, Africa, close the whole Wakanda Dome, a big one over Africa. Let all these countries mind their own business for, I don't know how many years? 5 years to rebuild? Longer. I know it's longer, but in the immediacy, for a pilot run, 5 years.
The thing is, if Africa would do that, the world would crumble. And that's why they will never allow Africa to do it. They would rather nuke the place than there be self-determination. It would be like, let's end it all then. Like, they would not. So we would need some type of Wakanda shield to take place over the continent to do that.
You would.
You definitely would. But I would. I subscribe to similar. I would try at least.
Close borders, shut up shop. But when you shut up shop, it's not to discriminate. It's like, let's sort out our in-house business, and then we can start to look at how to trade properly, how to interact properly. That one I'm not opposed to. But not the West close their borders and then still be taken from other places. None of that, love. Everybody shut up shop. Everybody.
Like, they just know, like, it wouldn't happen. Like France would crumble. Going to everywhere would crumble. Yeah, it would be flipping crazy. I'd love to see the day. I'd love to see it.
guys, this is big news. I think you've got to keep track and see what happens. I don't even know how to help, because Amnesty International is going to fight, human rights organizations are going to fight for this. But then what would be, because are the Taliban up to negotiation? What's the negotiation here? If the Taliban believe this is it, this is Sharia law, this is what we believe, this is it, there's no negotiation. There's nothing to negotiate unless you come in and fight them. But like, it's not who's at this point, and unless whoever gets into office, or whose agenda.
Okay, the only way you solve something like this, truly, if you are a humanitarian government, is you would allow people into your country from Afghanistan. You would give them asylum. You would make it easier for them to leave, because there is this regime that goes against human life to flourish, our freedoms. Like, you would welcome people to relocate, and you'd help them do that.
Okay.
That to me is the humanitarian thing to do, than to leave people to have to endure a regime somewhere like that.
Okay. So no, but I suppose so. Then don't forget about going into war. Just say, we welcome you, people.
Yeah. Like, the world should be free for us to travel. Like, I think, it's so nuts that we have these borders anyway. To me, is like,
to be fair, it's a lot.
Absolutely crazy that we have this system that we're living under. But if the World Council of it, so the UN, NATO, or everybody else is like, look, what's going on in this country is absolutely fuckeries to humanity. No human should live under this regime just because they've been born there. Yeah. We should be welcoming them to leave that place to come and be able to live with us. That's how the world should operate, really.
It should. And to be fair, borders, apart from entry into Africa, borders should be open for everybody else. Every Western country border should be open, and every country that they've destabilized needs to have their doors shut up, mate, till they can sort themselves out. Maybe that's the way it should go. The West stays open, the destabilized countries shut up shop. It's heartbreaking. Let's get some comments.
Jordan says they could have North and South Dakota.
I've got no skin in this game. I don't know. You're gonna have to explain what's wrong with North and South.
Jay Juniper says Nana and AK for president and vice president.
Which
I wouldn't even get close.
Okay, the thing is, you know what? If we wanted to make it work, I'd be the president and you'd be my thing in my back, because your mouth on the world stage will just crumble our intentions.
I would need to be president.
Would you?
Yeah.
Would you not fuck it up with
your
mouth?
I would need to do it. It's how it would go.
It's fine. I don't mind. I was thinking that, will you toe the line to get it over the line?
Because a president shouldn't be towing the line. That's why they're the president.
No, I get it. But I'm talking about, will you stick to this?
In reality as well. It shouldn't, even if you sneakily get there to have it, there should be an agenda within yourself.
No, you should have an agenda. But if we were to run, listen, I can be vice. I don't mind, because I'll do the research behind the scenes. I wouldn't be a sitting duck. We would definitely plot and plan how we plot and plan running the show.
Yes. Yes.
We'd be really good at it, to be fair. We'd have a great working dynamic. Let's throw our hat in the ring next week.
Ronald saying, of which country? I would go for Ghana.
Why not?
Yeah, you may as well start there.
Start where we grew, where our roots are, our ancestors are.
Move around.
Go. Okay, which Western country?
I like the look of Spain.
I went Santorini because we
actually do like Greece as well. Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
But to be fair, when it comes to governing a people that will listen to two black women, cool, blimey.
Portugal.
I thought that too, but then I thought, maybe what about Amsterdam? It's like a little bit self-contained, a little bit appearing to be liberal, doesn't really get involved in too much. Like a small manageable area that we could just kind of figure it out and then start to expand.
Why don't we just take over Switzerland?
Oh, yeah, that's a bit neutral. But I don't trust Switzerland. I feel like there's some stuff going on behind the scenes. Where's it? Where have they got where are all the offshore accounts? Where's that? Cayman Islands?
Yeah, all of the islands. So there, Luxembourg.
Yeah. That's too
Let's just take over Jersey to start off with. Let's start small. See if we can run a small plot of land.
Yeah.
Take over Jersey. Then we'll go to Ghana. Do a little thing there. Oh, Switzerland has legalized guns. I don't mind that.
Hey.
Yeah, and Amsterdam is literally just the city. So we'd be taking over.
It's Netherlands. I mean the Netherlands. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I meant a city. I think I can a city.
We'll start with Jersey and then work our way across.
I meant a city, and we could be mayors. Maybe we've got to be mayor and mayorette.
Nah, well, actually, the London mayor does have power, so start there.
Or Gibraltar. Yeah, that's where the money is.
Jersey, Gibraltar, you could do all the little islands.
Okay. All right. So we're going to put it in for 20.
Huh? We've got a plan now.
We've got a plan.
Jay Juniper said not the aunties could never world domination.
What would be your worst trait? They're like, no, we've got to vote them out because they're doing this.
What could be the thing that people would revolt against?
Yeah, apart as in a personality, rather than like obviously we're going to free the blacks, but as what's your personality trait that you might think that, do you know what, people aren't going to like this about me?
Taking over everywhere else.
You're not going to be able to stop. You're not going to be able to stop.
Yeah,
I'm going to be very moral. I'm going to be super moralistic.
Jay says that you two are going to be black colonizers. Yeah. Basically, that's going to be the problem. Yeah. But with freedom and for humanity to flourish at the core.
Yeah, because we love humans. But do you know what? My love of bad humans might kick in. And then...
Kiki, I didn't love Sammy from Love Island. I just said that he wasn't ugly. That was all.
Who's Sammy?
Everybody hated Sammy. I don't even know why. But to me, Sammy was a lovable rogue.
From Love Island. I don't know, because guys, I don't know this Love Island stuff.
But
Sammy, what the hell? Is he white or is he black? What is he?
No, he's white. Just got curly hair.
What the hell is this? And you liked him? Did you fancy him?
No.
His hair's horrendous.
No, that's the best part of him, is the little curly hair.
No, when it's straightened like a bob like this.
Oh, yeah, no, that looked very silly. But when he was on the show, it was just curly.
Okay.
And Ronald says Nana would be impeached for overspending on the space program. Yeah. That is fact.
What to be fair?
No, it's like, Ronald, where as soon as the world here, Earth, was okay, I would absolutely be
going to space, and I'd be conquering the water. I'd be trying to get down to Atlantis, 100%. Oh my gosh. Anyway, go on. Let's go on. So this is absolute news. And yeah, all the Western countries open their borders for the Afghan, for anyone.
It should be like that.
Aaliyah, I beg, I saw this picture. It's not good. So speaking of Atlantis and water, take it away.
What is the next one? I may have found it dry. Let's see.
It is dry, but I just want to check, because remember I said rich people and their toys, but it's a conspiracy theory of it all.
Okay, Mike Lynch's yacht sinking. Okay. Yeah.
Did you?
I know nothing about this, so take it away.
All right. So it's just another billionaire's toy has run afoul of the elements. Mike Lynch is a billionaire. His yacht, the Bayesian, and he's a tech entrepreneur. It sank off the coast of Sicily on Monday during a violent storm, leading to the death of 7 people, including Lynch and his 18-year-old daughter Hannah. So after a 4-day search, Hannah's body has been the last to be recovered. Italian prosecutors are now investigating potential manslaughter charges, exploring whether the sinking was merely a freak accident or if foul play was involved. Bayesian is a 56-meter super yacht. And he was recently, Mike Lynch, who was on board, recently celebrated his acquittal on fraud charges in the US. The yacht capsized on Monday due to a violent storm. Other prominent figures included Jonathan Bloomer, or chair of Morgan Stanley International. And so Lynch has been embroiled in intense legal battles, including ongoing extradition proceedings to the US related to the sale of his company. And he had so significant financial and reputational stakes involved. There was potential for conflict with various parties with the potential incentive to harm him. This is just read like Dynasty, Dallas, Succession, and I just want to know what's going on.
They found his body.
They found everyone. I think his daughter's was the last to be found.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a story out there. I just saw it and was wondering. Remember, I was saying that rich people and their toys should be taken away.
I mean, there's like I think it was like the Maritime News or something. There's been more deaths on the waters in like I think it was like the last 10 years. I just think that the water's taking people.
Yeah.
Like loads of more people have like drowned and various different things have been taking place. So rich people in it. So they're all kind of millionaires, billionaires that were on that yacht.
Mm-hmm. And his daughter. That's the same as the submersible. That there was one. What if it's like a mad ritual sacrifice something? Because remember, there's one young person again on the submersible. There was one young person amongst the millionaires and billionaires.
Oh, look at that. Leah says the widow of Steve Jobs, she owns his yacht, and that collided into someone else's yacht in July. This is suspicious too. Oh, that's why the owner has another yacht alongside his super yacht. What type of... Is this what they do? Like they go... I know that I was reading up on all of the various things that have been taking place in the waters. Like, yeah, they're claiming people.
It does seem like it. Because that's what I'm like. That's what I'm talking about. Rich people and their toys. What toys that it's like? Is there? And okay, and no disrespect to everyone who's lost their lives. You know, rest in peace, and to their families, condolences, all of that. It's just expanding on the theory or the conversation that when you reach a certain threshold of finances, and you're either too reckless or disrespectful of the world around you, and you start playing with fire. Like having a super jet without really, or a super yacht and just going out in the water without doing due diligence. I don't want to blame. And then going in a submersible. Is there a thing where it's like, you need to draw the line, put a cap on it, or you're going to get sacrificed?
Maybe like the thrill of life. I don't know. But either way, I always say there has to be so many different points of exploitative practices for you to become a billionaire anyway.
Yeah.
So let's just chalk it up to karma.
So that's it.
I mean, not everybody gets touched like that. Some people will go naturally to natural causes and they'll live to like 90 or 100 even. I don't know. But I think sometimes when these kind of crazy tragedies take place for people, it is like, well, I guess people die every day.
There's also that. Maybe it's just because they're billionaires as well. You know, how many people have sunk off a boat, a fishing boat, a party boat, a cruise?
This is it. Folks do go every day. But yeah, I don't know. So Yvonne says the wife and a young child of Mike survived.
Oh, were they on it too? Okay. And it was they're looking to press manslaughter charges against the owners of the crew. I don't know, man. Rich people probably.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's interesting what's taken place with them, but I don't know.
I don't know. It was
quick news or is it nonsense? I guess it's kind of news, but I kind of frame it under what's when you merge the two words together?
Nonsense.
Nonsense.
It's nonsense.
It's just nonsense.
It's just the exploits of the rich. Or maybe it's a Titan because they're famous.
Nonsense. Okay.
Kiki's saying Kiki's agreeing with you.
I want to it's not on the doc, but just explore what is going on with Andrew Tate. Now, you've heard about him getting new charges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I forgot about that. I would have added that.
Andrew Tate is now up again. So now he's on house arrest and new charges have been leveled at him for somebody who is underage when he first started dealing with her. So they have a new witness now that has come forward. Yeah. And it's been leveled and there's so much evidence, well, him talking himself about really being attracted to young females, like 15, 16, and that being like his type. and he's said it on various podcasts. Now, why I remember when the charges were first brought against him, now almost 2 years ago, these same videos came out, but it didn't seem to be in the same vein. It was more about the violence that he leveled against women. But now there's loads of clips of him actually talking about liking really young girls. So these new charges have come along. He's now back on house arrest. His brother doesn't seem to have been charged with the same things, but he still may not be able to leave Romania or Budapest again. Now, the thing is, on the internet, there's still a whole load of people that are now like, the Matrix weren't able to get him before, but they're trying to get him again. Are people stupid? I don't understand. Like, why do they think that the Matrix, as it is, or the elites, would be trying to get Andrew Tate? And if they wanted to, would they not have just killed him?
I've uploaded a picture of him for those who don't know what he looks like. But people did that for Bill Cosby. Do you know what I mean? It's like someone that you just don't want to believe. I mean, he's in a terrible person. Like, Andrew Tate's not a nice guy, but he had a huge following. So no one wants to believe the person that they invested in is going to be truly the devil. Do you think you have to find so many ways? People up to today still don't want to call out Bill Cosby. People up to today still think it's because he was trying to buy a TV studio, TV network. That's why he was arrested. It's so difficult to let go of your heroes, and the way that Andrew Tate and the Red Pill gang brainwashed and incentivized a generation or generations of men who are feeling disenfranchised or displaced because of the women activating their voices. This is shaking them to their core. So they're just, and maybe they're not waking up feeling nervous, but they're literally like, our leader is being taken out. That is what, it's a cult. He's created an international cult.
Yeah.
So the fear of, is absolutely, yeah, he's been taken out. They're scared or they're concerned because someone that you place your whole soul being and life and way of being and way of existing is now being taken out. Of course, they're going to be like, no, it's the powers that be.
It's just logically, if you place the steps in if they really wanted to remove him, he would be removed. Like, this scene, even the slowness of this reeks of just criminal charges, and especially when it's violence leveled at women, how long it takes to actually really lock somebody up. It's like, this isn't the elites have set him up. He's just basically a PDF. Like, that seems to be the thing. And he's grifted from all of you guys, and you've made him an absolute millionaire.
Yeah.
And it seems like he is a bit of a gangster. He also has a money laundering charges as well. And it's just like, yeah, you could see he was a grifter if you listen to him long enough. It's very strange that people really thought Andrew Tate was somebody to listen to. I guess maybe then listen to Trump. So no, it's not strange.
No, it's not. It's not strange. It's absolutely not strange at all. And like I said, he came in. That Red Pill movement was absolutely slotted in at the perfect time when women were starting to be more vocalized, get more rights, even though they're being taken away as soon as they were given. Get more rights, be more vocal, and men were feeling displaced about the position in society. When a woman can do everything, put up a shelf, drive a car, go to work, make more money. And we've had this conversation before on the main show, men not really understanding what their position is. And so men and boys not understanding what the position is. And then you've got guys that just, again, we've also got a different disenfranchised community that of generations of men and boys who don't go out, who are just behind their laptops, who are feeling insecure, who are being fed all the nastiness of the world. And then these men, like, what's his name? Kevin Samuels, this guy, what are those American podders that had a moment?
Fresh and Fit. Oh, God.
Fresh and Fit. All those voices spoke to them, tapped in completely into the insecurities of men. It's not hard.
It is actually crazy. Aaliyah was saying that Anna from Love Island was saying she wants Andrew Tate on her podcast 2 weeks ago. People in her comments were complaining, and I told her to do her research to see why her viewers are upset. Again, like, even that surprises me, that anybody who spends any time on the internet doesn't know how poisonous Andrew Tate is.
But that
is wild.
What's Anna's intention? Because again, it's that conversation of speaking to someone to understand and expose them. And sometimes whether she's doing it because she agrees with him, or she's doing it because she wants to challenge him. There's always going to be people with platforms that feel like, no, I can get him to say this, and I can get the best out of them. I'm going to speak to this controversial person either for likes or either to hopefully expose them even more to the world.
But not at this point with Andrew
No,
Tate.
I guess it, but that's why people are doing it.
He's been on house arrest for almost 2 years. Like,
Yeah.
to even think to platform him when he is basically the mastermind of a criminal ring and has been brainwashing a whole load of young people who are now the king of the incel movement. It's like, that would be nuts to be like, oh, I'm going to talk to him on my podcast when the most of the time I talk about my relationship with my sister and her man and Love Island. It's like, dude, like, use your nugget. She's like, come on now.
Not going to use her nugget because it's also part of the game, the world, and people aren't taking it seriously. Andrew Tate is almost like a caricature. Do you know what I mean? It's even what you're saying is a mastermind of a criminal like organization. He's a PDF. He's all of these things. I'll say allegedly, all of these things he's been accused of, but yet he's still this character on our screens. He's not real, and he's still being able to talk. He's still being able to communicate, and still being able to be an icon to people. So she's probably thinking likes, attention, controversy. Who knows where she's trying to pivot? Maybe what she's selling ain't being sold. Ain't being now let's turn it again. Let's go and get another kind of angle.
Yeah, I knew that would be her response. Aaliyah says she tried to gaslight her audience, but she was being called out. But apparently, we are jealous of her, according to her. Always.
I don't even know who this woman is, but I know she's an idiot.
Peak whiteness. It's like whenever there is whenever you're being called out, it's like, oh, people are jealous of me. Nobody is jealous.
No one's jealous. No one's jealous because you sound stupid. I don't even know what you look like. I mean, I'm not surprised. It'd be interesting. Do you know what? I have been thinking, how long is it going to take for this guy to go? It's similar to Diddy. It's like, how long is it going to take for this justice to be served in the right way? Because this guy, like I said, he's been on since he got arrested, or that big dramatic arrested. Then they were let out, then house arrest. He's still been free to talk and spew his nonsense.
Literally, he was tweeting as soon as they let him out of prison. Even I swear, when he was in prison, he was still doing bits online.
He was still doing bits online.
Yeah. But because Elon, so before he was banned on Twitter. Yeah. And then he was kind of deplatformed everywhere after, like at the beginning. Then obviously Elon was like, he let all the degenerates back on. So him and his brother were able to tweet constantly while they were on house arrest. And now, his brother can still tweet though all the time. Like, so they'll still be doing their shits. It's just sad. It's actually sad that they haven't been taken out. I wish the elites would remove him. You're doing us all a favor.
I mean, to be fair, and someone up in the comments said, I'm so surprised he's black, mixed race. He's looking kind of East Asian in this picture. He doesn't even look. He looks like a whole different ethnicity.
I know. It's like because for ages none of us knew this until he started showing pictures of his dad. So I think a few people knew, his diehard fans knew, because his dad was a world champion chess player.
Okay.
They knew that his dad was black. He's very light though. I feel like his dad may have actually been mixed himself.
Okay.
And then his mum is white. And his parents sound like absolute assholes though. And even when he talks about his parents, they sound very, very abusive and horrible. And you can
literally not that
understand why why the two brothers turned out to be who they are.
That was my next, because I was going to say, not that being a chess champion makes you any better of a human, but I was thinking, if you've got notoriety and success, why did you turn out these crazy kids? But then now it's absolutely explained.
Yeah, he kind of what was his dad's thing? His dad definitely wasn't very good with money, left them as well. But he was brought up in Luton. I went to uni in Luton. Know a lot of Lutonians, not the greatest place.
No,
so he was left in Luton with his mum. His mum was very strict and horrible. Then he went to America to his dad, and his dad wasn't nice to them either. Like very, very strict. Put them into martial arts and regimes, and just, you're not allowed to be a kid. Like they just had very disciplined lives.
So this is where he's got mummy issues all the way as well, because your mum's strict and was harsh. That's why you hate women.
And daddy issues.
It's like, they hone in on the mum, like the mum did it. Okay.
Yes, yes, they definitely are projecting their trauma onto the world. Definitely. And
Absolutely.
he has to be very insignificant to the elites. Like it's actually blowing his own horn to be like the elites are after me, the matrix are after me. It's like, dude, you're just a criminal.
No one cares. It's
The police are after you.
yeah, because nothing you said even challenges challenges anything.
No.
You make the platforms money. People are invested in your platforms, all that type of stuff. I don't know. They don't care. You're just a
Just a
criminal.
weirdo.
Just a
Yeah,
tramp.
it's an
Um,
absolute weirdo one.
Absolute nonsense. But it's great news that he's hopefully finally being taken down or taken out.
I hope so. I hope they just lock them both up. I hope that actually takes place. That would be great. Let's see.
Let's see. Um, I'll jump the. Well, we had this on the dock for a little minute, but I don't know if you want to talk about it. But I was going to go to the new colonizer,
Who's the
or,
new colonizer?
or do you want to go to somewhere else?
I don't know. Who is the new colonizer?
Phil Craig, who is it? Phil Craig, yes, Phil Craig. He's basically a Brexit supporter. Phil Craig leads controversial campaign for Cape Province in South Africa to break away from South Africa because he feels that his community of people have different ideals and sensibilities to the wider South Africa. Basically, he wants the whites and the coloureds to break away from South Africa. So
So,
he's comes from the UK.
do we have a picture? I'm looking.
I did have a picture. Oh no, I might have forgotten a picture of him. Oh no. There's a link. Oh, I wanted you to play the video on the doc.
Okay.
This is what he's saying. Sorry, the link.
Hang on. Where have you put it?
It's on the doc underneath the headline.
Okay. All right. Carry on. I'll get it up.
Yeah, so anyway, so Phil Craig is a Brexit supporting Briton. He leads a referendum party advocating for the succession of South Africa's Western Cape province. The movement, inspired by Brexit, seeks independence for the region, citing ideological differences and a Western outlook distinct from the rest of South Africa. You can hear the racism. The campaign has faced significant backlash, with critics accusing Craig of division and racism. Craig likens his efforts to those of Nigel Farage and hopes to influence South Africa's political landscape. He's originally from Middlesbrough in England. Before moving to South Africa, he owned a furniture business in Essex. He was not politically active whilst living in the UK. He moved to South Africa 20 years ago and has since made it his home. His campaign has obviously faced strong opposition from many South Africans, including major parties like African National Congress and the Democratic Alliance. Again, they accuse him of division and racism, trying to revive colonial era ideas by advocating for the separation of the wealthiest province from the rest of the country. Critics view it as an attempt by some white and coloured communities to separate from a predominantly black-led national government, fueled by the fact that the Western Cape has coloured people making up the largest racial group of 42% and white people 16%, making it the only province in South Africa where black South Africans are not the majority.
And that's what he wants to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, basically he wants his version of apartheid. And people are campaigning to have it's not working.
No, I can't share it like that. All right.
Oh, we can't get the video?
No. But you explained it.
Yeah, it was just to hear him talking because he actually says it with his chest and he's been saying it.
Let me see if I can.
I couldn't find another video of it. Let me see if I can. Why can't you get it up?
I would have just downloaded it.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, guys, in the comments, what do you think? Yeah, it sounds like apartheid. I don't know. And he needs to be deported back to England because who told him to come to Africa and start talking nonsense? But also what interested me are the coloured is the coloured community that might be backing this as well. Because what is that? Because the coloured community as a whole, I guess, is a separate entity. I guess that was the kind of conversation.
An ideological homeland for people who think like us, people who have Western values, who want to live in the first world, and want to and I've often used the example: the Western Cape becomes almost like Israel for the Jews.
Yeah.
Cape is an ideological homeland for people who think like us, people who have broadly Western values, who want to live in the first world, and want to and I've often used the example, the Western Cape becomes almost like Israel for the Jews, if I can use that example. You don't have to go and live in Israel to benefit, if you're Jewish, to benefit from an Israeli state. You've got somebody who's your people, your ideological people, and they're going to have your best interests at heart. And I think it's the one place where in South Africa, current South Africa, we can create hard power. We can have a police force, we can have a military, we can have borders, and actually be in a situation to influence in a really significant way at a national level the circumstances in South Africa as what currently is. Obviously we want to break South Africa up, and I think that has huge benefit to people within the Afrikaans community who are vulnerable.
He's
what we're looking to create in the Western Cape is an ideological.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's wild.
It's not actually thinking about it. No, it's not crazy. It's what white Afrikaners have been trying to do for a very long time. And they have wanted to create a separate area where they absolutely could rule.
Yeah.
If the thing is, it could happen. But why would the coloureds be in support of this? This
is where, as we, not to put Tyler on the spot, but this is where this conversation about colour needed because I don't quite know how the colour community exists in South Africa. I don't know if they have, again, I'm assuming they have some elitism, because if you're fair skinned, everywhere you go, if you're fair skinned, you're close to white beauty or white features and stuff, you have advancement. So I can only imagine that coloureds have a better positioning. And maybe there's a community of coloureds who believe that aligning with the Afrikaans people, the white people, they're going to get more benefits. And actually, if the coloureds feel like those dirty darkies or don't feel like part of the black South Africans, then they're going to align with the white and get more rights. Do you know? So that's what I'm assuming. But I don't know how far, because I was trying to look for more stories on this. It's out there. He's been talking about this for a while. So there's not a lot of news on it, but it's something that's happening. We'll be very interested to see what happens.
It's very interesting. Why has a fly just flown in? One of the little kids just came in. Sorry, and they just opened the door.
It's massive.
I don't see it, and literally opened the door, and a fly just came in, and now it's into the light. Annoying, but anyway. So I was thinking about this with South Africans, because a lot's going on with them, and they're going against Nigerians as well. Like, as in they're calling them immigrants there, like just having a go at Nigerians, and they were doing something with Uber, and they shut down Uber. So a lot of flux is taking place in South Africa as well, with the blacks fighting against each other. That's usually when the whites are able to be, because you're amongst yourselves fighting, do some shit like this. Like, it could take place.
Yeah. Yes. Also, yes. Coloured is even word. I've never said coloured so much to describe a person in my life. I don't think I've said it as many times in my life. It is but it's what they
call themselves.
Yeah.
And they are really proud. Like, that's what they call themselves.
That's what they call themselves. Colours are people.
They hate it when people question that they're colours. They are coloured.
That was a whole backlash with Tyler on the Breakfast Club, because coloured are people in South Africa who have ancestry from African, European, and Asian people. This is just me Googling. The term was officially used by the South African government from 1950 to 1991 to describe people who are not white or of the Black Bantu tribes. Coloured are primarily descended from the Khoisan people who originally lived in the western parts of South Africa, as well as Asian and African slaves, European settlers and other Africans. Over time, these groups mixed and acculturated, leading to the extinction of some Khoisan languages. Most coloureds speak Afrikaans as their first language and live in the Western and Northern Cape provinces, where they make up the majority of the population. During apartheid, coloureds were subdivided into categories such as Cape Malay, other coloureds, Khoisan, and bastards. Cape Muslims were considered Cape Malay, and this designation was also used for Cape coloured Muslims who moved to other parts of Southern Africa. It's a whole thing that I don't understand entirely. But you can see, again, from Western interruption and disturbia, this is what's caused this new community of people who possibly don't feel like they're aligned with anywhere. But I don't know. I don't know.
It's like, I guess there is still a movement that you see, especially in like Liverpool and areas where there are like generationally mixed race people.
Exactly.
It's exactly that, but in South Africa. And then you had your own identity as well.
Exactly.
And they were given more land, they were given better housing.
Exactly.
So then you had a clear class divide along racial lines. And so then you build an identity that we are colored.
We're superior.
Absolutely not. Yeah, definitely in different parts. It probably is in the Western side that they are definitely way more racist than, let's say, the colors that are in like Joburg. That they're very different and they actually kind of integrate in a different way. But there's still lots of words, and most of the South Africans that I met when I was working were coloreds because they are the ones that can travel, because a lot of them have one grandparent that is British, so they're able to come over here on a visa and stay for 3 years. Whereas a black South African to get to the UK is very hard, and they're usually the wealthy ones, so they're from the elite blacks. A normal South African ain't leaving South Africa, so I understand even why they have their issues with Nigerians, because there's so many young Nigerians who are able to move and travel around after work, and the black South Africans don't have the work. So I get it, but this is all created by white Europeans.
And imagine someone, an elite, and not illegal, he's not illegally lives there, coming from Britain and to come and now impose and be say you're inspired by Nigel fucking Farage.
Any ordinary white dude as well, you know, is now going to go there and be a leader. Imagine he literally could go there and be a leader. Like he could
be a leader and talking like, you know, so we're gonna, it's our values and protecting ourselves, but we need protection. When Charlie, I don't even want to get into that, but
no.
Okay.
It's disgraceful, but so could happen, because the thing is, the ending of apartheid was not that long ago.
Exactly.
So in that space that it can be reignited, like they could have this happen again, because they still own the wealth in South Africa. It wasn't like, I think what was it? It was like they have, I think it may be 82% of the wealth in South Africa is still white owned. Businesses, government is still white owned. And so then the black population, you're fighting over like 10% of the wealth
of your land.
Like that's what you now are all scrambling for your jobs. Like you're 10% of the wealth. Like it's crazy. So obviously, yes. And the idea of Israel is so appealing to white people. They love this. We have our own state that has like military powers from all around the world that will defend us.
That he's saying that in this time of what's going on, and you're saying it with your chest. Yeah, just like Israel, just like.
Yes, because they know what they've done in creating that. That's the whole thing when it turns into a project that
because
everybody else is looking at. Actually, this is very valuable. This is a valuable piece of land for us to occupy. And as the world changes, I could see the UK and America backing that to take South Africa back again. I definitely think they would back. Actually, okay, we can't have the whole of South Africa. That was really ambitious. We managed to do that for a few hundred years. World is changing. China probably is going to get involved, and Russia. But if we would defend the Western coast, maybe that's viable. Maybe we could have that.
Maybe we can have that. And then obviously, I don't know how intense those kind of disagreements are, but then maybe thinking about the land grab, or like what Mugabe supported in Zimbabwe, all of that stuff. I don't know how precarious the situation is. Are Indigenous South Africans pushing to get their land back and things like that? How intense is it? Because that really freaked out the white Africans. I remember when there was so much, how dare you we have to give up our land? But like your ancestors did this
stole it.
Stole it. So you're literally getting a taste of your own medicine. And I understand in the immediacy, it's not great to lose your land, but at the end of the day, that's not your country.
Yeah, Ronald says, doesn't a form of apartheid exist in Israel? Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly what's going on. Jordan says America would never support any succession of Africa or any other country. I don't get what you mean.
What support what this guy is doing? I don't know. I mean, performatively, they might not, because performatively, but if there's any interest in it for them, then there'll be a different argument. I don't trust the West. It's not just America. I don't trust the West when it comes to these things. So I don't know.
No, madness.
I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely got to keep an eye on that one and see how that develops. And
that's big news.
Yeah. After
a portion of a country being divided.
No, you think America wouldn't support that?
They're supporting it now, no?
Of course they would. They do it everywhere. They love that shit. What do you think Rwanda is? Like, that was literally supported by America and the British, leaving Rwanda to a minority group to rule over. Like, it's like.
But the thing is, who knows what the political landscape is going to be in the next 4? Have you guys watched Civil War? Who's the lead actress in that? It's like post Civil War America, and in modern times, like a recent Civil War. Just because the world's gone to pot, if we're really listening to what's going on, we're not far from something potentially happening, depending if the powers that be want to keep us stabilized or not. So
Ronald has a question. How is Nigeria viewed by the rest of Africa?
Can't answer that, Ronald, because
it's quite interesting, because I haven't heard of any other country having a real issue with Nigerians being in their country now in recent times. Obviously, there was an issue with Ghana, but now it seems that I only hear of it from South Africa. That's a huge problem. Like, Nigerians are, it's dicey out there for Nigerians. Like, you have to stay in your Nigerian areas. Like, normal Black South Africans will treat you bad, and it's harder for them. But I only hear of that tension taking place in South Africa. I don't know.
I was gonna say we can't answer that because there's so many countries. So I wouldn't know how to even explain it apart from South Africa. And in Ghana they have a little bit of tribalistic kind of like, they're coming in, taking our jobs and changing the nature of stuff. But that's cultural tribalisms. I don't know how. I don't live in Ghana, so I don't know how.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I don't think
it's same as South Africa. It's not like volatile, but yeah, I think within familial conversations, like the Nigerians, Liberians, and the Chinese are just taking over Ghana. But again, that's just, I don't know. But yeah,
definitely a thing, and it's going to happen because it is like the largest populace of Africans. So, and then there is the stats that I think I'm sure it was about 60% of the country is under 30 years old. So that's a vast amount of young people, young Nigerians who can mobilize themselves around the world. That can really shape how Africa is. It would change things as a migrant workforce. It's very different, and also it's very powerful for Nigeria that you have that many young people, able-bodied, that could work, but they could send money back to Nigeria. It's interesting.
It's very interesting, and maybe if South Africans get over their irritation, if that's what it is, whatever that issue is with Nigerians, maybe then they'll be like, actually, what can we learn from you guys? And who knows if they're being stoked, that bickering is being stoked by the powers that be, so they don't want them to be.
Definitely. I think it would be the same as with African Americans and Africans in America.
Yeah,
it's the same bit. They know what they're doing when they will provide help for the new migrants, and then the people that live there don't get that help. Like they know what they're stoking. They know the divide, because then on one hand you're treating all black people like they're all black people, but within the minutiae of your countries, it's not like that. The new wave of black people are definitely getting helped way more than the, let's call them, the indigenous black. Like they know what they're doing. So yeah, I think it's probably very similar to how Nigerians are seen in America. Definitely how it's represented online. When you see people talking about Africans as African Americans, it is like, whoa, what's all of that? But I understand it. When you then go into the politics of it, and actually like social mobility and education, there's help. It's different.
Yeah. And then them having their own kind of through line of autonomy, as you said, like they're mobilized, they're able to travel, and they're able to send money back home. It's like looking at like one. I can't even pay my rent. I'm not getting any support. I've got to pay madly for healthcare. I dropped my thingy.
What have you dropped?
Just my stand that my phone sits on.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this is absolutely something we've got to keep an eye on. Absolutely. I mean, that's a very stereotypical thing. Ronald, Africans in the West West Africans are seen as forever students, very educated. Africans had that, like they're always studying, they're very educated. I can guarantee
that. But Nigerians are, though.
Yeah,
I think I don't know any set of people with more, like I've got 2 or 3 degrees. Like you just meet a Nigerian and stand, I've got 2 degrees. Like,
okay, that perspective. I feel like I'm such a tribalist, but then for me in my world, it was always like if you're West African, you had a degree or 2. You were a doctor. It was that typical, very stereotypical. I had that with Ghanaians as well. For me, in my bubble of my world. But yeah, I mean, Nigerians for sure. They stay educated up.
Dammy J says, being Niger in SA is a battle for your life every day. That's what it sounds like. It literally does sound like it's very dicey. It's not easy. Ronald says, in Omaha, most African immigrants are Sudanese and Somalian.
That's
interesting.
Oh, I wonder. That'd be interesting to know the states, the popular states for African immigrants and Caribbean immigrants, where'd they go? I mean, I have very stereotypically, I know that Harlem's meant to be quite Caribbean. But where do majority Africans and where do majority West Africans, East Africans, where'd they go?
Yeah, definitely interesting. I know for like my family that are in America, it's either Atlanta or Maryland.
I have Texas. Yay!
A new member! Yay!
Welcome. New member. Welcome to our new member.
Thank you.
I think my song changes every time. But yeah.
Destiny Love says, we have to remember there's a lot of keyboard warriors. The real life is so much different being Nigerian. I have a lot of South African friends who don't care for this behavior of xenophobia. Yeah. Always so, isn't it? It's when you're on the ground somewhere, it's hard.
Yeah, and then again, it could be but that's how that propaganda gets spread, isn't it? Because you have a few people, again, from us on the outside looking at or hearing about the ADOS movement in America. And when people say, well, then Africans don't like us, and then when over here we have the Caribbeans don't like us, and the African, that it's just like maybe one experience of one bad person and has made you now decide that the whole culture doesn't like you. These things can be isolated and magnified, get unnecessarily magnified, and just spread unnecessary fear and propaganda amongst certain groups, where it's not even like that in the immediacy.
Yeah. I really need to go to Maryland and see, but that's where the family is. So you have family in Texas?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anyone that went to Texas. Interesting.
Yeah, family in Texas.
When I was a kid, though, I always, like, when you'd hear of like the uncle that was in the US, as they would say, and it's like, why did you guys come to London?
Yeah,
had an option. Why would you not have gone to America? And it's like you just come to this.
But then who knows? Because though I wanted to feel like I felt like I was younger, but I don't know. I don't know if we're also better off here. I don't know. Not better off, but it's a different set of racism that maybe.
Yeah, it's different. I don't know. I think I can only go on like my family that's there. And they also like kind of left the same time as my parents coming here, and then they went to America. They seem to definitely have more of a like a Ghanaian community, but that could just be how their family was.
Yeah.
It's not as widespread as they have lots of friends that aren't Ghanaian, even the younger ones. They're all Nigerian. They seem to be with other West Africans.
Okay.
Whereas over here, it was definitely, maybe because we're family, like the minority for a while, you mixed more.
Yeah.
There's something in the melting pot over here that I do like, especially in London, that my family in the US doesn't seem to have the same.
Yeah, there's something about that because I don't know.
It'd been interesting to have seen how life would have been different in different places.
The only thing I think maybe that we would be more prosperous in America, because it seems like
absolutely feel that. I feel that 100%. We saw that even when we were just at Essence Fest. The amount of money people have, and it's like, listen, man, you go to a festival in the UK, you are not seeing somebody open up their purse and have wads of cash.
No.
Those days have gone.
Long gone. Not happening. All right, that's definitely news that we're going to keep an eye on. Welcome, TG. Feel the love in the comments. This is News and Nonsense, where we bring you the news of the week and break it down our style and get you to understand whether it's news or nonsense. News you need to know from what you don't need to pay any attention to. Next story up is a bit of a serious one. Crystal Kaiser has been sentenced to 11 years for killing her sex trafficker in 2018. Now, I'm putting this out. This is an American story, but this is something that is being debated about what rights do people have when they're abused and then they take on their attacker, and specifically women. Crystal Kaiser is a woman from Milwaukee. She's been sentenced to 11 years after pleading guilty to reckless homicide for killing Randall Voller, a man she claimed was sexually trafficking her. This case has sparked debate over the legal protections available to trafficking victims who resort to violence against their abusers. Crystal in 2018 was 17 and she shot and killed Randall Voller. So Crystal's a black girl with the afro hair. She burned down his house and stole his car. She claims she acted in self-defense after he attempted to abuse her again. Her defense argued that she was a victim of sex trafficking and her actions were a direct result of the abuse she endured. Again, as I said, she pled guilty to second-degree reckless homicide in May 2024, so she wouldn't get life, and she's been sentenced to 11 years with credit for 570 days that she's already served. People are arguing that trafficking victims should not extend to homicide, that protections for trafficking victims should not extend to homicide, arguing that the law was not intended to cover such extreme actions. So, as I just as on the back, I wanted to give some other examples of this. In the UK, there was a very notable case. I don't know if you remember it, Nana. Back in '89, a South Asian woman, Kiranjit Ahluwalia, she was convicted of murdering her abusive husband Deepak by setting him on fire. She and for domestic abuse, physical and psychological torment. She was sentenced to life, and then an appeal meant that she her conviction was reduced to manslaughter in 1992, and then she was released after serving 3 years. So it changed the legal understanding of provocation and the defence of battered women in the UK. Another woman called Sally Challen in the UK was convicted of murder in 2011 for killing her husband, again after lots of psychological abuse. In 2019, her conviction was quashed. So Sally is the white woman with the blonde hair. Kiranjit is an Asian woman with short hair. And then going back to America, Cyntoia Brown, that was a very famous case. She was sentenced to life in prison in 2006, convicted of first-degree murder, advocated robbery for killing Johnny Michael when she was just 16. Her life sentence required her to serve at least 51 years before becoming eligible for parole. But she was granted clemency in 2019 after serving 15 years. And her case got a lot of attention from Kim Kardashian, Rihanna, and LeBron James advocating for her release. So it's just a conversation about, I don't know, like, is this news or is it nonsense? Should women, as I keep it with women, who kill their abusers be sentenced the same way as someone who in quotes just murders?
I think the sentence should generally be a manslaughter. You can't get away unless it literally is in self-defense. At that moment, they were going to kill you. So then I think, yes, you could be acquitted. But if it's like you've been abused for years and at one stage there was a snap that took place, I think it should be like a manslaughter, or there should be like a set. You're not going to do more than 5 years for it because of the abuse that you endured that took you there mentally to be able to harm this person in that way. There should definitely be some circumstances where you're not getting punished in the same way, and especially when they're young, like that just feels like you're ruining their lives as well. Like they've had so many years of abuse, and then they snap, and then you're going to punish them for the rest of their lives, like doubly. Like it doesn't feel right at all.
It
but
doesn't.
Circumstances need to be taken into account.
They really do, because I mean, obviously we have child criminals, young criminals. I mean, especially Centoya and Crystal being 16 and 17. Obviously, we're going to immediately empathize with these girls, immediately feel sorry for them, immediately feel like they shouldn't even see inside the jail cell, and immediately have been wondering about those bastards that trafficked them, abused them, and manipulated them.
I guess it's maybe the severity of what you do, because she set him alight, stole a car. It's a lot. It's a lot. I guess there has to be some type of a punishment, but it shouldn't be murder. I feel like it should always, like, that should be removed from the circumstances because there was more to the story.
Yeah.
But definitely case by case. I don't even think you can have a blanket rule of law for this. I think it's got to be case by case. And look here, I don't remember the 89. I was a primary school kid.
I feel like 89. Sorry, go on.
In Brookside, there was the whole story of the battered wife that killed her husband and then buried him and everything else.
In the house.
Yeah. I remember that being a really big thing, and then being able to understand that, like, what abuse is, and that somebody could snap, and, you know, she's not bad. You know, it's like there was a level of sympathy for that whole storyline. But yeah, I don't remember this Asian woman.
I vaguely remember it because I think 89 I was 12 or something, possibly. Is that the name, Manny Jordache?
Yes, Mary Jordache. It was Mary Jordache. Yes. Oh my God, how do you remember that?
Under the floorboards, wasn't it?
Yeah. Mandy Jordache.
Mandy Jordache. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Did you get a picture of her? Because that's wild. Mandy Jordache.
Oh, that's all I remember. I remember that I was such a Brookside fan.
So was I. Absolutely.
Oh my God, I love that show so much.
Oh my
I'd
gosh.
watch that again now. Literally watch that again.
Remember? Okay, let's see her face. Mandy. I think this is Mandy. I remember her face, so this is the right woman. But I don't. It's a difficult one, but it's also just looking at where there's a lack of support and protection for girls and women who are being abused. Like, these women endured. Let's just go with the fact that this absolutely happened. No doubts about it. They were enduring so much psychological pain and damage, but yet to the point where they didn't feel supported enough that they snapped. Like,
no, it's bloody out of order. But I still think just within the law, there's got to be something. Because at the same time, if that's like a family member, like, there's just so many other circumstances to put into phrase. So I don't think it can be ruled as a blanket.
No, I get that. I got a picture of Mandy in the
yeah. Okay, let's see. Mandy Jordache. Oh my God, yes. Oh Lord. All right, let me do that.
I remember when
I freaking loved it. I born 53. Okay, so we're a decade apart. But this is still my jam.
As it returns. What?
What?
Oh, that's 1982. My God. Okay.
Brookside Close. Yes. Oh my word. Yeah, it was in Liverpool, and I met. I think in Brookside he was called Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy the Sinbad. No, not Jimmy. Not
Jimmy was tall, dark hair. I believe his real name was Dean something. I feel like, but in Brookside, he was definitely called Jimmy, and I did a television course.
Oh yeah. Dean Sullivan.
That's it. Dean Sullivan. Yes, he was the director of the piece, and I went to Edinburgh for it. It was like a whole TV thing. It was part of Edinburgh Fringe, but it was called like Edinburgh Fringe Television or something. And as a young person, you could go up there, and it was like we was there for a whole week, and I was so gassed that he was my director. I was literally like, it was maybe television and camera work that he was directing us on. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I was so starstruck. I was literally like, I love you. Yes, Jimmy Corkill.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved him so much. He was lovely as well. He was a lovely guy.
I remember him vaguely. Don Ronald said, "What if Crystal was white?" I don't know.
Same.
They do say that, yes, obviously black people get more harsh sentences, but I mean, there was a white woman in the UK that went through the same thing. But then she was released. I don't know how much it took, because the black people get the book thrown at them, and there's no sense of care or duty. Maybe they would have had lesser.
Yes, that would have been an interesting one. Definitely. This is news. We got to kind of keep an eye on this stuff as well, and with sentences, like just how women are criminalized. I think it's something to just keep an eye on. Be aware.
It is something, because I think again it's around the insecurity of the man. I mean, abuse is not going away. It's been around forever, but as we move into a space where women are losing their rights, that's something that's tying in with it somewhere. Because the more stressed men get, we've got Andrew Tate out there, you've got Donald Trump, you've got very frustrated white men or men who are feeling like they're losing power. So then the first thing they do is turning on women.
Yes, yeah. That's definitely the thing.
But yes,
been on there for a while. We have the Diddy, but there hasn't been much news.
I was searching because I was trying to find an update. There's nothing on Diddy. There's no update. I mean,
I don't know. The only story, which is kind of crazy, is some drug lord going to the police at one stage. This is like historic, and basically saying that Diddy was taking his business. Like, so they were leveling charges at him, like he's been drug dealing, but the dude was a drug dealer, and it seems to have got thrown out. So that was going around on the internet. There is that Diddy may be up for attempted murder, and they're looking into that as well as another charge to bring against him. But we're still waiting for when he gets arrested.
But this is the thing that, like with Andrew Tate, like it's just like a long thing where people forget in the end. And I don't know, people are still saying he's so well protected. Oh, yes, actually, Jay. Yes, I did see that. Jay's got an update on the judge that was suspended. That the mum and the daughter, I think, are suing him.
Oh, okay. Not sure if you've already did an update on this, but that judge
No, we haven't.
Student handcuffed and put in jail uniform is being sued by her and her mum.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm so glad.
Yep. So what's happening? The teen has alleged that so in the complaint, the teen alleges that she was ordered to wear a prison jumpsuit and was held in a cell after Judge Kenneth King felt he was disrespected. The complaint alleges King violated the teen's constitutional rights. So he's being sued by the family. He's being sued by the family. And what's happening now? Yeah.
I'm so glad. And I think also he did lose his job. It wasn't just a suspension. I think Ronald may have put it in the comments.
Yeah.
He was actually sacked as well. That's
good.
He needs to be removed, and I really do hope that his cases get looked into as well.
100%.
It's mad.
One sentence says King was temporarily removed from his docket after the event and was due to be trained to address the underlying issues that contributed to his incident. So it says temporarily. So it doesn't say, let me see when this article was written. This is 22nd, so just the other day. So
yeah, it doesn't say he's been sacked.
No, he's just been removed temporarily. and asked to undergo training and development, I guess.
Crazy.
No. Well, yeah, that's our news and nonsense today. You guys have anything else they want us to talk about? If not, we're going to bed. It's Carnival tomorrow and Monday. Notting Hill Carnival returns. I'm thinking about going. I also want to lay in my bed all day.
Oh my word! No, Donald said he's still being paid
His salary.
Yeah,
sacked.
let him get paid and take his money from him. This is crazy.
Yeah. Well, if it goes further, he might end up getting sacked. But it's
nuts.
I'm waiting for someone to say look into his back cases, as we said, his backstories.
Yeah, we got to. Oh, we do have the update. I didn't line it up.
Oh yes, do you know what I forgot? That's
I can't actually remember where you sent it to me. But so the woman that I brought to you guys, who had her child taken away from her at King's College Hospital. Don't know if any of you are still following that case. I haven't seen Beth go live on it anymore, but Fia, I think she goes by Fia Rose on Instagram, actually did a full little explanation on her, and she was known, so she knows of Vanessa Brown, and she has known of Vanessa for a few years. And Vanessa came into her fray, I think it was 3 years ago, because she had lost other kids to social services, and a newborn as well had been taken away. Now, from what Afia was saying, there's lots of issues there. There is mental health. She would have been known to social services, and there was things that she said wasn't adding up when she came onto her live to tell her about what was going on with social services. She didn't produce all of the facts that she needed from her, so she thought there was something dodgy going on back then. Then everybody's bombarding Afia with this new case to look into, and she was just putting it out there. I do know of her. I wouldn't send her money. Like, she has a history of this. She has lost other children to social services. So that's what Afia is saying on it as well. From Vanessa Brown's page, she seems to still have access issues with getting to see her baby, and the baby is still in care. So that's the update on that one as well. I'm still keeping an eye on it to see if Beth knows more, or if any of the other people that was on the live that was like they were going to represent her get in touch as well. So yes, it's not looking good for her at this moment in time, especially if she's lost other children as well. It's like she probably isn't going to get this baby back. You're on mute.
Someone didn't want to speak in the comments the other day, but they said in their 20 years of child protection, they have never witnessed or suspected children being removed for money. To get a judge to separate a newborn from a mother, you have to jump and skip through hoops to evidence significant harm risk, trust me. So it's so sad that this baby and her mum's images are circulating like this. So yeah.
She definitely is. Yvonne says someone said she had 4 other children taken away.
She definitely needs help. If not for nothing, she needs help.
Definitely. It's very. There's still so many parts of this. Like, I really would like a journalist to really investigate what's taking place. Because also, like, mental health wise, what's going on with her, that's a lot of children. But she's left at large and then seems to come into authorities to take a child. Like, there's just something to this. It just doesn't sit well with me at all.
I mean, at the very least, she needs help. So what? And where's the support? And this is where the state that's supposed to care does not. We should have facilities in place. This whole, again, I'll leverage at the Western world, that they do not have a rehabilitation care plan for anyone, be prisoner, be someone working class, mental health. They have no form of rehabilitation on their agenda ever. Like, again, that would be the politician I vote for, someone that actually sees rehabilitation as a necessary thing for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Because as it stands, she's just out here having kids.
and if she's not fit to have kids for whatever reason, again, not why is she allowed? Why is she not being supported and nurtured into being somebody that can look after her 4 children? Because one day she's going to wake up and regret, even if, like, no matter what, one day she's going to have an awakening, even if it's for half an hour. She's going to have an awakening and realizing I've got my none of my children are with me. I'm missing something. And that's just what women lose in giving birth, what women lose in creating life, and then having them taken away. There's not even, I don't even think there's a paper on it. I'd love to know who's done the research, because there's never anything done, not enough studies done on women birth and understanding that maternal connection. What does it do to a woman to lose her, whether she's mad or not, whether she's got mental issues or not, whether she's evil or not? What does it do to a woman? And that's 4 human beings coming out of your body.
Yeah, and then having it happen again. And this is another thing that was actually being discussed on that live with Beth, was that when it goes into the family courts, that the public don't get to see this.
Yeah, that.
And so that was another issue of, actually, okay, well then a lot of things are taking place behind closed doors.
Hold on.
We don't know.
Ashes to Ashes saying journalists are not permitted to report on child law cases.
They're not. It's closed.
Okay. I thought
that. So it's not just sitting in the gallery. It's closed. There are no other people that are independently witnessing these cases.
Okay, no, do you know what?
So let's say you are a vulnerable mother and you're going through this. There is nobody there to be an independent witness for you. It's closed.
I just Googled this. And this is an article written in January 2023. New pilot scheme allows judges to make transparency orders within 3 UK courtrooms, giving reporters more freedom. Grants journalists new powers to report from the UK family courts, but it doesn't necessarily say family. Okay, it's family courts disputes concerning child custody, but not child protection, I guess.
Yeah.
So there's some
3 different courts that they're trialing it at.
Yeah.
It's something that I do think is important, that these things aren't closed. That person did say about it within their 20 years, there were so many people on the live on the other end who have gone through this system, who are ready to talk to people with their court documents to show that this was unjustified, that they had gone through an unjustified case and their children had been taken into foster care.
Wow. Yeah, this article is quite can I drop this in the chat? It might be too long to read. Just about the way that journalists can't report. This woman saying reporters couldn't describe the dismissive tone in which a judge spoke to a woman trying to prove domestic abuse, or how a social worker had repeatedly breached court orders leading to harmful delay, or how a mother who had just given birth pleaded over Microsoft Teams to keep her baby while milk soaked her t-shirt as she sat in a hospital side room. In short, journalists weren't able to report what they saw going wrong, or indeed what was going right. Not that is without implying to the judge. And then you're in a world of pain. Okay. So yeah, so this, and she's continued. This article is 2020, 6 months old. And she said, we're 12 months into the brave new pilot scheme where journalists can attend hearings in some cities in England and Wales on the basis that they can publish what happens rather than breaking the law if they do. This is a big thing.
Yeah.
A big thing.
So we kind of...
So the pilot has been successful, and there's an appeal.
I hope it does get rolled out. I think it's really important. There was too many stories and stuff, and it's like, no, we know we always hear of this, and it's kind of like, oh, it was in the 1950s. Oh, in the 1970s they've been doing shit. So we need a level of transparency, especially within our communities, as to what's going on and what they are doing to people's families, especially when a parent is a vulnerable adult.
Exactly. Listen, I can't even talk about it. It's just something I heard about, something going on recently. The way that these kids were taken from this woman. It's interesting.
Definitely is something to keep an eye on. And I'm still always on Vanessa Brown's page as well, like just checking how she is, because when things seem to go wrong, there's like a level of calmness, and when she's talking, where that also kind of scares me a bit, like just
because
how she's feeling.
How
she got family? She doesn't have family. From what Afia was saying as well, there's no family around her.
This is what I'm saying. Then how old is she?
I don't know, but she seems young.
No, I'm saying she looks. But that's what I'm saying. How young are you? Like you're not. And like back to what do you lose when you lose a human being coming out of your body that you've grown for 9 months? There's a lot. Charlie, there's a lot. There's no way that you're normal. You're not normal. We actually lose brain cells. We're growing a human.
Yeah.
So we lose.
Yeah.
Yes, ashes to ashes. She's young.
Yeah. She definitely is. I think I don't think she's 30.
No, it doesn't look like it at all.
Yeah. And no family. From what Afia was saying, she's like, that was back then. She had no family as well. So yeah, she's kind of like out here, and apparently she changes her name a lot. She travels around. This baby seems to have been conceived in Jamaica, and then she came over here to have a baby. Yeah. So it seems like it is a lot that is taking place in her world, definitely.
And I guess it's that thing of like, if you can't help people that don't want to be helped, but because it's and this is what happens when, then you get people killing their babies. Do you know what I mean? Like what kind of, and then you have a woman in jail because all she needed was some help.
Yeah.
But then, and then the baby's
not getting help in all of this. It's like she's not getting help. She's just having to deal with a new social worker, and go to a contact center to kind of see the baby. So it all sounds really wild, especially if she does have mental health issues and she is a vulnerable adult. This seems like surely she also needs a care plan.
But then also, because the next step is how do the authorities step into something like this when someone's deemed an adult, not mental health enough to be institutionalized? There's no.
Yeah, you should still have some type of care plan,
of
even
course.
if it's like therapy or something. If she's vulnerable enough where you're taking a child from her, like you were like, she is not fit to be a parent, we must remove kids. She also should have some type of care facility so that she's not just out here in the world. Like,
so I'm saying again, this is for the United States of Nana Naquia. What's that law? What is that? Because is it that, okay, pregnant baby 1, baby 2, how many babies does it take before then this institution is a thing? And is it a by force institution, or hey, there's this facility that you can go to get some support and help? Or is it you keep on having children that get taken away from you? You have to go into this facility by force. How do we do it? How does it get done?
I think an assessment does have to be taken, whether or not you're just out here in any old flat, or maybe you're in a structure of care, like as if you was a young person coming out of the care system. So it's like you're in a shared house, you're in a cared for house, like there is help there in where you live. So you're not living by yourself, you're in shared accommodation. Like something like that. Or there's other services where you're either calling into or you're visiting once a week, and they're assessing you and how you're coping. So maybe similarly to a probation, something like that it may be reviewed monthly just to see how you're dealing, and actually, okay, your mental health is okay and you're okay to be in society and have your freedoms. But if it's been put in place by some type of judge and some system that you are not able to be a parent, there has to be some types of assessments. If I take your kid, it shouldn't just be you got to deal with that. There should be help mentally for you to be okay. You've just given birth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, absolutely. There should be. The Maudsley in South London has many young mothers admitted for mental health, and the children are in care. Yeah, man. I just saw that they're opening a Pears Maudsley Centre for Children and Young People, which is to help change the story of mental health and help transform the lives of children and young people. That's in partnership with King's College. So I don't know what that's going to be like, but who knows? And again, you have all of these things, you don't trust them. Because on that topic, you've also got to have taken to cultural, traditional, religious, all these considerations.
Yeah.
No, offering rehabilitation. But you're right, it is that type of system. It's just that we don't, not even, it's just that. It's that.
I know there's no care. My mum would always say, like when she had all of us here, you were in hospital for 10 days. But the time you were leaving, you had healed to some degree. You knew how to look after your baby. Like the nurses would help you. There was more care. Whereas now, if you have a normal vaginal birth, you're getting turfed out within 24 hours.
Absolutely. Imagine that. They want their beds.
That's
sometimes
just giving birth, and it's like, well, actually, Femi was even faster because she had the baby in the morning. She was out by the evening. They'd sent her home. Like, there you go with your child, your newborn. Nobody is, and not everybody has like the systems that we have with mums to come and wash the baby, show you how to do all of that. They're not teaching you that in hospital anymore. It's literally go home and figure it out.
And if something gets wrong, if something goes wrong, which is and not because you're any type of way, but a normal mistake, babies, like the newborns don't necessarily roll off the bed, but things can happen by mistake. Then you go to hospital, the baby's taken away and you're criminalized.
It's
because all they could have done was like have a little moment.
Yeah, I think that, as Yvonne was saying, it was 8 days when she had her daughter. That's where, like, I got 2 days with a C-section. I could barely walk, and it's like, okay, you have, your time's up now. You got to leave.
I got 1 day. I had a normal birth.
It's actually crazy. But yeah, with Akai, it was a vaginal birth, but obviously he was so premature. They gave me a day and a half that I could stay in hospital, and he's now in NICO, and there was no way for me to stay in NICO with him. You're only allowed to do that when you're taking your baby. So then every day I'm going to do all of the milk runs, like express the milk, hand it into the staff, you've just had a child, but you still have to do that journey every day. I'm traveling to the hospital.
That's the system that doesn't understand the value, because it's women. If men gave birth, it would be a whole different understanding.
Oh, definitely. They'll make blocks. There'll be a block of flats next to the hospital where when you give birth, it's like, even if you are they're gonna give you a few days, you're gonna be like 2 weeks in the block of flats right next to the hospital. Because
there's a lack of, and that's what I'm saying. I'd love to have that study, or just even read something about it's a traumatic, beautiful experience, but so much about giving birth that you think it's okay to just send a woman out there and then just criminalize it if something goes wrong. You're criminalized, because then that baby is worth more than the mother. We're just a vessel to the system. The baby now becomes more important than the vessel that carried it. Yet still, you don't want us to abort. You don't want us to.
There's no care. Ashes says, age 18, I was sent home the next day. Give thanks for the grandmothers of the world. Definitely.
100%. Listen, my mum was bathing the baby and I was just like, what?
Honestly, it's for all of my friends that didn't have that, like, I so feel sorry for them. But then, when you're younger, you don't even know like all of the bits that you really need your mum for.
You don't.
But I was with my mum for 3 months when I had Akai, and that is every day she is bathing him. She was making me breakfast. Like, my cousin would come over, wash all of my clothes. Like, we literally did not want for anything. And that's me and my husband and the baby. We're all at mum's. Like, we all live there.
I went back to my mum's because I was in the hostel. So I went back to mum's, and she's a former midwife, so she just took over. I was very hands-on. I really wanted my baby, but she had to do it, like when you're in pain and stuff like that. But like, even with support, you're looking at this human that is your responsibility for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah.
You have held inside your stomach. It's done somersaults and made you sick, made you tired, made you grumpy, made you angry, made you hungry, made you ate things that you never wanted to eat, all this stuff. And you're left this whole responsibility, and there's no care outside of if you were blessed to have a family around you.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference, because definitely I feel it just takes the pressure off when you do have somebody else helping you and teaching you things and showing you new bits, and just you learn a lot. And for people that don't have that family support, if you could just stay in hospital for a week
for a second,
where they would teach you, like, because I was going in every day, I think my milk production was really good because I was shown properly how to express, because they took the time to do that, because I'm there all day. If I was in hospital for a week, they would teach you that. I think people would have better success rates of their kids being able to latch on, because you'd be taught how to have the baby latch on. You think you just know, like, literally you're just going to put your baby down, and they're going, not all babies do latch on straight away. There's techniques to it. But unless somebody's teaching you those things, you'll just be out here in the wilderness feeling like a failure. Like, I don't know how to do this shit.
My daughter's a breastfeeding expert. She hasn't had kids, but for some reason she's got this knowledge, this extra second knowledge about breastfeeding. So she's become the expert on her ward. And she said sometimes their mother's just in tears, floods of tears, because the baby's not latching. And she's just like, all they need is a minute to have someone talk them through it and not make them feel like a waste of space.
That's it.
And on top of that, if you have forget if you're single, if you have an unhelpful partner or an abusive partner or someone that's making you feel like you're not good enough, on top of it, that's where shit can go left. That's when your mind can go left.
Yeah.
Someone asked, who does your baby? Okay, Aaliyah, what's the healing process like once you give birth? Does your stomach go back down as the baby has been born, or does it take time? I don't know if I worded it right, but I know what you mean. It doesn't go on. Did your belly?
No, my belly didn't go down straight away. But my mum did do the wrapping method, so I know now.
Explain.
Now it's not really that controversial, but at one stage it literally was to do it. But I think now it's out there. So with a cloth, now you can actually buy bandages where you do it, and you'll get wrapped after you've had a child. So your whole stomach will be wrapped as if you're in a waist trainer, but it's like a bandage to just kind of squish everything back into the same place. Because obviously it's like your internal organs have actually shifted a little bit after you've had a child.
Yeah.
So the wrapping system is to keep you all contained, and it gives you structure so you don't slouch as well. So my belly probably went down maybe after 4 or 5 weeks. Like it's not an absolute snapback. It's not that, but it's smaller. Like it's more contained.
You definitely. It's not like, remember there was a moment on TV when the woman would have the baby and it's
yeah.
I think it became, one day someone was like, can you guys stop with this? So they started to be more realistic with the fact that your stomach does not go immediately flat. I think definitely depending on how slim you are, how fit you are, all of that can come into play. It's heritage, it's DNA, it's all of that stuff that plays into how your body bounces back, but it's never usually an immediate smooth. I can't remember. I was 23, so I was very young. I was extremely skinny before I got pregnant, and then I went huge. So I think I went back quite quickly. I can't remember how many weeks it was. And also breastfeeding. That's another thing about breastfeeding. Do you remember the pull in your?
Oh yeah.
So when you're breastfeeding,
sometimes I can still, but you can recall a pain. I can't recall the pain of birth, but breastfeeding, I recall that pain.
Yeah. So if you don't know, when you're breastfeeding, because it's helping your stomach come back together, I don't know what it is, but when you breastfeed in the early stages, you can feel like a shooting pain from your vagina as the baby's sucking the milk. So because they say that breastfeeding helps bring the stomach down. So it's like it's doing internal contractions and contracting your belly back down. But there's a through line from your boob to your vagina, and it's a mad shooting pain.
Yeah.
I don't know what
maybe it's a nerve, Fred.
It's nerve.
It's very strange. It's such
weird.
a weird. Everything is weird though. Your body's just like not your own for a while, if ever gets back to being yourself again. It's a weird kind of shift that takes place. But yeah, breastfeeding helped me lose weight definitely after my second. Definitely, like there was no other remedy.
No,
breastfeeding. I was just like slimming down like straight away. It was very good.
Yeah, boobs. I miss my pregnant boobs because they were gorgeous. But yeah, mastitis. Yeah, that's hard. So mastitis is when the milk goes hard in your breast, and you have to. I remember massaging my boob, trying to move it around and make it not go hard. Because if the baby doesn't latch on or doesn't give like breastfeed, then sometimes the milk can kind of masticize in your boob, and that's pain.
Yeah, and just the level of sores. I never got too bad. I was very, very lucky.
Yeah, meaning it wasn't
some of
too
my friends, it was really, really bad and very painful.
nipples.
Yeah, oh my god, the painful nipples. I was just very lucky. I didn't get it too bad at all. It was definitely not like I have one friend that would cry when she was breastfeeding, and as much as we were all like, stop, she was so adamant to not stop and like just get through it, because there is just there's that pressure that gets heaped on as well. Like I've got to feed. So I understood, but it's like it's so painful for you. You can actually just stop this. Like the baby is fine, healthy, beautiful. Like you can stop. But she didn't. She carried on until it kind of like she went through that healing process, and then it doesn't hurt anymore. But sometimes we put ourselves through so much trauma,
Yeah,
just for mummy guilt, and it's actually it's not worth it, because that is trauma. That is a trauma that's in your head now.
Yeah. I remember the cream. I remember that Vaseline cream that was like a paraffin that went on the boobs.
Yeah.
I think I remember that.
Ronald is asking, have you or any of the women in the chat ever had postnatal depression?
No.
I don't think so. I think I definitely, I wouldn't put it down to, I think standardly after you've had a child, there is a moment of like, what I would say is probably just standard baby blues.
And overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're overwhelmed, and another set of fear kicks in because you're just scared for the new baby, and that's different. I've definitely went through that, but I did go through grieving pregnancy, like because my pregnancy was cut so short. There was a sadness. If I saw somebody with a big belly, it's not like I didn't have a big belly, but I'm sure there is a phenomenon because I think I read about it, but there was like a definite grief process that I didn't go to term, and that it was a traumatic setting to have the baby. So, but it wasn't a depression, but there was some unresolved feelings around it. But I definitely not how people describe postnatal depression. I didn't suffer that, but there was a grief. Definitely.
I don't think I didn't. Well, I went to term. I didn't have any issues. I was young and dumb. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't have blues. She was literally. I just think it was like me and my baby against the world. So I had that mother joy. But what you're never prepared for is how damn scared you are for the rest of your life. Like,
yeah, that fear.
Because you fear carrying to term, then you fear giving birth. Okay, you fear. Then there was back in the day. It's not so heard of so much as now, but back in the day there was a big cot deaths thing. When I grew up, there was a lot of cot death news stories and all of that. So that was my biggest fear. So when they're talking about today about co-sleeping and stuff like that, we don't have that same headline news. It was everywhere in the news, cot death. But it's
because
not so much.
By all accounts, it still happens. It's just
it does still happen, but for some reason, it's not headline news anymore.
Yeah, it's just not reported in the same way. I remember when that was all the time. Like somebody had lost a child to cot death. Like it was like a thing. It was either how you lay the baby down, then it could be the mattress that they were on. Oh God!
Although, like when there was when mother care, I swear they had to recall some baby mattresses. You know, those type of things. There's all sorts of that. So then you just, then it's just the fear of everything. That's what you're not prepared for. I mean, I suppose you can't necessarily prepare for everything. You just can't. But I think that was my biggest thing, was fearing like losing my child, in losing my baby in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. And to anyone that has lost a child, lots of love. I'm sorry if it's triggering to hear this conversation, but just that was one of my, huge. I was so scared.
It's terrifying. I mean, even still now, I said, it's like you just have those flash thoughts,
Always.
That's the worst thing. It's like, oh my God, what would I do if they don't come home? And then I have to like recount back to, it's like, why are you crashing your day with thoughts like this? Like literally just move on, like they're fine.
Do you know,
just always there. It's like, oh God, seriously, please allow me.
I'm so glad, not glad, but thank you for saying that, because I have this all the time. And not that I thought it's just me, because I know there's, but I think it's, when you don't know how your mind, you don't know how everyone's inner mind works.
Yeah.
My inner mind is like, my daughter, where did she go the other day? And she didn't answer the phone. I had a whole scenario.
No,
and I had to walk myself back. Like, she's fine. It's like law of averages. It's fine. And I have to think about, okay, so if this happens, then what does that mean for the offset of the world? Or what I have to walk myself back too. But the way you just described those thoughts, and it sits with you, and you're like, you just ruined your day now. Yeah. And then when she answers the phone, and another day I snapped. I was like, so you can't call me. And I was like, and she's like, Mommy,
oh my God. It's a minefield. It's so much. This is the thing. This is, even when you think about it, I'm really surprised that so many humans do this.
And repeatedly.
I'm surprised.
And this is why when we talk about men and the ability to just walk away, and I suppose that is why when we have those conversations about when a mother is a bad mother, in quotes, it's so seen as so much more worse, because
oh my God, Yvonne says I do that with my daughter, and she's a mum herself. I mean, my mum used to say that to me as well. She's like, it doesn't
go away.
It doesn't ever go away. And I'm really bad with the telephone. So then there's a level of, she would get used to my badness with a telephone. But at the beginning, it's constantly like, why didn't you pick up? And I'm just thinking, I'm just out with my friends. Like, I'm coming back home, innit? So I'll see you back home. Like, I wasn't processing her anxiety that you have been out of the house all day and I haven't heard from you. So when I'm calling you, just answer, because my mind is probably moved on to, you've been run over, like all of that. But as a daughter, I wasn't really thinking about it.
No, I was never thinking. Even, to be fair, my mum, and I also put it down to personality. You're so dramatic, Mum. But even just the other night, because I have a pact to ring my mum every day, because she doesn't live with me, or she doesn't live with me. So I called her. It was like 2 days I haven't called her. So I called her the other night, and I was walking home. And I always FaceTime her because she needs to see, because she's going a bit deaf. So she's like, where are you walking? On my road, Mum. It's lit. I know. It's dark. There's trees. Nobody. I'm like, Mum, it's okay. I know this, right? And I think I don't want to speak fake, because one time I had an argument with her. Stop having these negative thoughts and speaking out loud, because if your big mouth puts mouth on me and then something happens, it's you that's going to be upset because you kept saying it. But when I went to visit her today, she said, please do not call me when you're walking down the street, because I'm scared. I'm like, Mum, it's my street.
I'm more scared. Oh.
I was like, no, I'm going to call. She goes, no, don't call me, because my mind goes fuel. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, bless her. No, it doesn't end. Why is it back?
The fly. I just have, that one. I just dropped my youngest, Kiki Newton says, I just dropped my youngest off at university 2 days ago, and I have extreme anxiety about her being away. Listen.
Oh.
I was so glad we went to see Hull University, and then my daughter chose Kingston.
So, yeah, because she didn't go anywhere, did she?
And she's still with me. She's like,
I was not leaving London. That was a given. I think my mum was just glad I didn't go to Scotland, because that's where I was also.
Okay, I need to go.
My theatre teacher was like, you should go and do a theatre course in Scotland. I was like, Scotland's cold. If Scotland wasn't cold, I would have gone, because I was just so ready to leave London and experience uni. Ronald was asking, Nana, how did your husband know about what you were going through? Yeah, I guess.
You guys were close though, aren't you? You have a
good it's hard to share everything, but I think it was known. But also, having a premature baby, he also was going through things as well, because it's very scary. Like, you literally don't know if you're going to have your child. Like, you don't know if they're going to come home. So, yeah, I think we probably both had a trauma. like a huge one. So yeah, it was a scary time. But I think I did talk about it. I don't know. I'm not always good with stuff like that though. Sometimes I'll what would be the word? I would do therapy internally with myself.
Yeah. You're not necessarily a talk. You're not a talker. I'm not. I can talk. I've learned to talk matter of fact about things, but when I feel like I'm not going to break down. So I've already processed it, so I can be very, like maybe the other day I was like, I wasn't in a good place. I can say it like that because I've already got over the bad bit. So I can just say I was not in a good place.
Yeah.
Dealt with it.
To a degree. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I did. If people would ask, it would only take just asking, like, how are you doing? I would just be blubbering because it's just, it was so there. But I don't know. I think everybody kind of understood it. I think I didn't have to labor the point. And I had a lot of friends who had little kids at the same time. We were all mothers quite close together. So we all kind of understood.
I was on my own. I was on my own.
It's lonely when you're the first one out of the group to have a child.
Oi, don't be the first. And definitely no shade to my girlfriends of the time, but they were not ready for me to be a mum. And I wasn't even supposed to be the first mum. Like, I was a tomboy. So my girls, 23, we were in the crux of raving. Yeah. And I was a raver. So we were always out. And then it's like, well, one of the key ravers are not raving anymore because she got a bloody baby. My friends did not handle, I don't know if they'd argue differently, but I don't think they handled me being a young mum very well. And there were times I felt very isolated. So luckily for me, I didn't have postpartum because that probably would have been a real mad time because I felt very isolated from my friends. My friends weren't.
Yeah, when you're young, it's hard, man.
Yeah, there was another group that I saw. There was another group of friends that I know. They were younger than me, and when they all started they seemed on the outside very supportive of. She got a baby, but my friends weren't like that. They were more like, you were actually getting on our nerves. Just
you got the child. Yeah. I think. I wonder. I mean, I've never actually asked Jessica how she felt we was as friends because she was the first one to have a child at 18. It would have been hard. We all went to university. So we literally all left London anyway. So that would have been very isolating. We're going out every night. Then when we come back for holidays, we're still raving. I don't know. We would be round there though, but it's not the same. We weren't there. We definitely was not checking in. We was not calling all the time to be like, how are you and the baby?
I think my friends checked in, but I think they checked in. I don't know, it's just 24 bloody years ago. I think they checked in a way, but yeah, you just definitely, because you can't come. Like literally, you can't come. And if you but early said, I remember I went, I've said this story before, DMX, this was DMX's first concert in the UK, and I was a hip hop head, I'm a hip hop head. And I would go to every concert. So I just had my baby. I can't remember how old she was. I need to get the year up what was the year of his first concert in the UK? And I said to my mum, I'd like to go to a concert. And she's, going in, Mum, how? You want to go to a concert? You just had a baby. I want to have So I was like, all right, take my baby to my friend's house across the road. Because luckily my best friend's sister at the time lived across the road from my mum's. So like, Shannon, take the baby, please. I'm going to a concert. So I went to the DMX concert. So that was my way of sticking with the life and not feeling so different. But I remember when it was feeding time, my boobs started going, and the milk it was just perfect. It was almost perfect timing. I managed to get home in time and feed my baby, but my mum was not having it. But yeah, I had to try and do things like that because I felt so out ostracized.
Yeah, you wanna be a part of things. Destiny Love says, I was that friend that had a friend who had a child early, but I was there at the beginning, but after a couple of years, I drifted away.
It happens, though.
Man, you're young. Yeah. Ashes says, never even thought of this. I had two friends who'd had babies before me. We were all in it together, mate. That's literally the best way. Like, I was very lucky. Two of my besties, both children, they had just had kids.
Okay.
There's lots of babies around and we could just do things together. So it made it so much easier. And then a year or two after, the other friends had their kids. So it's like very comfortable times that's needed.
Let's see. Oh, it was okay. The concert was in May 2000, April, May. No, it could never have been. I was a bad mum.
How old was you in 2000? So you was like 24.
No, my baby was like, Emma was born the 22nd of April.
Oh, so she was just weeks old.
Yes.
No wonder your mum's like, how are you going out? Just weeks.
Oh my God, she was a month old. She's fine. She's fine.
But when you're young like that, it is. When did I first go out?
Oh my God.
I was like maybe 2-3 months old. Went out
Shit.
first. So this thing's trying to attack me.
But the thing is, my mum wouldn't understand how important. Like, if Amma had my baby, if my daughter had her baby, and she's like, "Oh my God, I don't know who's her favorite artist right now." I don't know. Let's say Beyonce had a concert next door to our flat or something. And
why does it have to be next door to your flat?
I don't know, something where it's so like, and well, okay, it doesn't have to be that. Her favorite artist comes to concert and her baby is like a month old. I'd take the baby. I say, go and have fun. But I would understand. Look, that fly is huge.
It's literally like not pissing off.
It's so big. It's actually like a cartoon fly. It really wants attention. Did you get it?
No.
Guys, don't judge me. My mum didn't let me out. I was like, I'm going. And I took my baby to Shalon's house. Big up Shalon. She was a big sister to us all. Yes. Because she lived across the road. So I wrapped up my baby. And then, that's why the milk came. I think just I remember feeling a rush because guys as well, if you haven't had a child, when it's feeding time, when you're breastfeeding, it kicks in, like your milk starts to fill up because it gets used to, oh, she's gone. The fly's taken her out. I hope she's okay.
And literally like I'm still here. What's up?
The milk comes in like when it gets trained to know when you want to feed. So when and it's like there's a connection between the baby and your boobs. So when your baby wants to feed, your boobs fill up. So yeah. I remember just at the end of the concert, there was a time when I was like, okay, I've got to go because the milk was coming through my top. Yes, big up Shalon all day long. Ashes to ashes. I just clicked ashes to ashes. Hi. But yes, oh no, the fly's actually taken Nana out. She's gone. She'll be back though. But yeah, man, I don't know. But when I was young, I was 23 or 24. I turned 24, I think. So, or 23, I don't know. I was young, man. It was DMX. I was such a fan. So I don't know. I'm being laughed at in the comments. But the baby was like 5 weeks old and I went to a concert.
that is nuts though. That is crazy.
But I would let my baby go because I'd understand. Because you never, do you know what I mean? It's a big thing. So as long as I'm not like taking the piss.
Aaliyah says, when the baby is drinking the milk, can you feel it coming out? I've always wondered. Sorry if
it's not weird. Nothing's weird. You don't know.
It's not a weird question. It's the weirdest. Can you feel it coming out? It's not like that.
It's not like you can feel something being sucked out. Like you can feel like what the fly, Nana.
It literally will not piss off. Like,
I was thinking that you didn't get it. It was too big.
I was like literally trying to. The door is wide open for it to go and peruse the whole house, but it's decided no. I want to be close to you.
You can feel like no, it doesn't feel like I don't know. I can't remember. Even this is 24 years ago. You can feel something, but it's not like you feel like a water spout coming out. I'm really trying to remember. But you can.
It's such a weird sensation, but it's like
you can feel something pulling, I think.
Yeah, it's the pulling, and you know it's coming out. So actually, my milk ducts used to get really full that I could push on it.
Yeah, and it would go like that.
Out, so it's like you. Yeah. It's like pressure points, so you can feel where the milk has been collected.
Yeah.
You can push on it, and then the baby's gonna get more.
Yeah, you could literally choke your baby if you squeeze too much out. Like
because too much milk will come, and also then once they've kind of emptied you out, it's like you can massage your milk ducts so
Yeah.
that more milk will come
Yeah.
out. Like they'll get the last of the milk that is in that duct, and then you'll just move on to the other breast.
Yeah.
It's a weird sensation though, because you can really feel the milk ducts and how it's connected, and it's crazy.
Ashes to ashes, yes. Drinking from a straw. That's what I was thinking about. Like, you know, if you like close the straw and you like drinks like
and even that sound like that.
Yeah. Oh my God. This is wild. Yeah. Like a shower head. Yes, ashes to ashes.
And like, if especially once my milk had really come in, like they're like 6 months old, and you can like just spray it.
Yeah, that's what I used to go like.
Just be like,
yeah.
And also, did your family teach you this about putting breast milk on their eyes?
Yeah, to go away from conjunctivitis.
Yeah. So I would always do that in the night as well. I'd put spray a little bit of breast milk on their eyes.
Yeah.
Make sure they don't get anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I expressed a lot. Like I
was
like known as like the cow. I had so much milk in the neonatal unit because that was just the way to cope. It was go in, express, sit by the baby.
I can't hear you. Sorry.
Did my thing go down?
No, I'm saying I can't hear what you're saying because Yvonne White is just maybe scorned. Was it YCN that did the story about the bride who caught her fiance breastfeeding from his mum on their wedding day?
We did.
Did we do that?
Yes.
I remember that story.
Yes.
I feel like I'm reading it or hearing it.
Or did we talk about it on a Labrish?
It might have been Labrish because I don't remember it.
Remember the guy and the video was going, no, I swear we did it on the show.
I'm feeling like this is fresh news.
Yeah.
And I don't want to know. What do you mean? Breastfeeding from his mum, Bitty from his mum on wedding day.
Yes, the real life Bitty.
That never fucking happened. No way.
Unless she wasn't there for that show. But yes, a dilemma came in. Literally, the guy had been caught. The woman was horrified. I think it was a Reddit story. Did I find it on Reddit? I think it was a Reddit story. I saw it on Reddit. And then
was I the guys who was
you
I
not been on the show?
Maybe I was working or something. What the hell?
Yes.
So hold on, what happened? So she walked in and he was it's coming. Maybe I did remember. Maybe I do remember it.
You remember?
Hold on. So she walked in on him and he was sucking a mum's tit.
Yes, he was like, he literally was, he has a bitty. He was still able to latch on to his mum.
I hate bitty.
But you know, there are literally grown men that love drinking breast milk.
There's grown men that love drinking breast milk. Absolutely. But there's also no need for it to be something that anybody knows about.
What do you mean? What they? Oh, like the couple where they came out and they were talking about it. That
yes.
The man,
yes,
has breast milk every day.
Yes.
They were saying they didn't want it to have a stigma. That's why
get out.
That's why they were sharing their story of the man that he drinks her breast milk. They was like, "What's wrong with a grown man?"
Get out.
I'm more like, for her, why are you still okay produce it? Like it hurts after a while. Like, so for the rest of your life, you're literally gonna have breast milk.
So because then it's like then that's borderline incestuous as well. It's like, what the hell's going on? You're a grown man and you're sucking your mum's tit. There's nothing.
What about the guy that was just sucking his wife's?
At least it's his wife. Each to their own, but not just each to their own. Because that's when the breast becomes a sexual object. And
he says it's not, so it's different. So that's like milk and cookies. Just he has the wife's breast milk as like a snack type of thing, but it's not.
It's actually like.
It's a big one.
Because you can see it on the camera.
Okay. How can I?
They're
all in the shed. I can't even just get one of the boys to come and chase it.
Just scream. Yeah, it did take a turn, Jay. It did take a fucking turn. We're talking about the beauty of breastfeeding, and then in comes Yvonne with your story. If you keep stimulating the breast, some people can still, because you know there's sometimes there's literally wet nurses that's their thing. They can breastfeed for women, for mothers that don't have breast milk and stuff. There are women that can produce milk and just can produce milk when they're around a baby. That there's something in them that they're stimulated where they can produce milk. So that's when it's a wet nurse, and that's what they're called.
Yeah.
When you can step in,
stop, your ducts will keep on going.
Yeah.
Oh God, it didn't even stop. I thought it had gone.
Nana, I've got a bone to pick of you as well, even though it's a good bone, a little bone. It's not a bone. It's not a good bone. You know when you said don't hoover the spider? I believe I created a spider colony in my hoover.
I told you, like they say, you shouldn't do it.
I've always hoovered up my spiders. I'm saying it because someone who said they had to deal with a spider today, waving cat designs. She said, Nana, I had to deal with a battle of massive spider. I had to suck it up with a vacuum cleaner. Waving cat designs, I believe, because I always hoover my spiders. I really do, because I can't deal with them in any other way. But I think my hoover was full and had about 3 or 4 big spiders in there. I know they had a family because we kept seeing the same size spiders about this big that were all over the place. I took the bag out the other day and I haven't seen one for a while, apart from one of the babies. I think it was a baby.
You can't so don't just suck it up and be like, okay, it's gone. Then you have to empty it out, because they will just find another little crevice within your hoover and they can still lay their eggs, and then you're just going to have loads that come out of the hoover.
I mean, ashes, yes.
It's just better. So when you did it, and I said like go and empty it out afterwards, I was like, don't do it like that.
I was like, the hose is long, it's not going to come out, because I've to be fair, my whole time, to be fair, I have hoovered up spiders, but maybe the bag was empty. This bag was quite full, which I didn't realize. So probably it was close to the front or something. Because before maybe I hoovered and it was like all the dust killed it.
I just used the hoover to bash it and kill it.
They said, I had a story actually. They said that this spider's coming back to the UK.
Oh,
Let me go to my. Yeah, there's a spider coming back to the UK. I won't show it, but they called it there's a big spider the size of a rat that's coming back to the UK. It is called, let me get my.
Donald said, wide-ranging conversation.
This is the nonsense part of the news. Guys, do you want me to show you the picture of the spider?
No, nobody wants to see it. No one wants to see a spider that's the size of a rat, because I know I would die.
It's called the Fenraft spider. It's the size of rats and capable of hunting fish. Have made a comeback to the UK after nearly becoming extinct in 2010.
Okay.
There are now 10,000 breeding females in the UK, half of which are in Suffolk and Norfolk. I'm just letting you know.
Exactly. Yes, let's just leave the spider talk alone. Thank you.
It's on the BBC. If you want to go, it's a Fenraft spider. It's on the BBC. For those of you who want to see it, I'll put a link in the chat. I can't be the only person to see this. This is the link. I'm warning you. Here we go.
No, we don't need Australian stuff. Like, exactly. Jay said no, please. Serena said no. All right, God, give us one last random topic.
One last topic, so we gotta go to bed. So actually, a couple of you said that you're not going to Carnival tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not going to go tomorrow, I don't think.
I thought you were going on Sunday.
I know, I think I'm just going to stay in.
I want to buy jerk chicken on Monday. I think that's the best. That's what I got. That's what I got for you guys. I'm sorry, Serena. I'm sorry, Destiny Love. La 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 la. I'm sorry. But I had to see it and I had to enjoy it. But my daughter's getting really. Oh, I wish I could do a picture of my daughter. She sent me a picture of her holding a jar. And she was going, Mummy, look what you left me. And it was like a big, massive spider.
They literally just said they have arachnophobia. Why are you still talking?
Oh, I missed that. I didn't. Oh, sorry. I missed that. I'm trying to train myself to not be scared because I'm really proud of my daughter. Okay, cool. Off the spiders.
Waving Cat Design says no. Last time I went with my daughter and we got kettles
Yes.
for the crowd. Yeah.
Waving. I got kettle. I was by myself and I was like, this can't end like this. It was really bad. Yes, Ronald, Carnival is a big deal.
We ain't got a lot that takes place in London like that. So
yeah.
Oh, I went to Leeds Carnival once. That was a good one. Yeah, I'm not feeling it this year. Last year I was so excited to go on both days. Maybe it's because the weather isn't nice. When it's super sunny, Carnival is delightful. But
I'm a bit on the mood. The turnout is like 10 million.
No, it's usually 2 million.
Yeah,
over the 2 days. So it's definitely the biggest street festival in Europe. It's gone. Sorry, I've got to do the door.
Yeah, excuse me. It's one of the it's one of the biggest. It is the biggest street party in the UK, in Europe, actually.
In Europe, yeah, it's the biggest street carnival in Europe.
So around
it's not. It's big.
It's about 3 million annually, roughly about 3 million. So, yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
I know Waving Cat's Design saying after the riots we've had, I'm worried about Carnival. I think that's what people are worried about. But every year, you know, Carnival, there's some scare story like don't go because of this. That's postcode wars. There's always something.
That's what I'm more concerned about because there was that shooting the other day. There's been a couple of shootings in West London, in that area, not even just West London, in Ladbroke Grove. So that's the part where it's like, what's the mood of the kids right now? Because if the kids are moody, it's not propaganda. It's like they will get into it. So it depends. So, and it doesn't mean to say that'll be the whole thing, but you just don't know where you'll be. So that's where I'm a bit like, I myself never feel scared in Carnival. I've seen things kick off, but it's if people are going to be acting rowdy with guns, because there's always some dickhead.
Yeah. I
mean, someone's going to go with a machete. Like, it's that's a real fear that you can't say is propaganda. You can't say government's trying to make it. That's a real consideration. Like, if I had sons of age, I might be like, I'm going with you or you ain't going. But, you know.
I mean, I did say that to my nephew because he was like, oh, like we could go. And I was like, I'm not going Carnival with you. Like, he's 22. You just come back from Ghana. You don't need to go Carnival. It's like, you don't need to go Carnival until you're like 27. Realistically, just stay out of it. And he's 6'3". He stands out like a sore thumb. So it's not necessary.
It's just not on. Like, my daughter said she's going to go, but with her, who knows, boyfriend or not boyfriend. They're going to go together, which I feel a lot safer about. But then also, he's a young man. I remember one time when he was with us and he didn't come home on time. I cussed him out. I said, you're not from the area. You can't just come home late. No.
Go Carnival for black men is a bit scary, definitely.
Yeah.
I was going to go. It would be tomorrow. I don't feel like it.
Well, because we got the concert as well. I'm kind of like, I could do a rest day. I don't mind. And it's on my doorstep. So I always say I'm not going. But also for me, I'm still 3 years in, 21. I'm still a little bit at loss going to Carnival because my relationship with Carnival, apart from beyond being a young girl going to Carnival, when I had my daughter's family on her dad's side, that house, like my daughter grew up in Carnival. So I carried her on my chest when she was born in Carnival. So she's been going to Carnival every single year of her birth, like since she's been born. And in her grandma's house, we'd always be there, like going to get the job, we'd be there traditionally. And since her passing in 21, it's difficult. And I think that's one of my most emotional times is like Carnival comes around is when I miss her most, because that's so part of like my 24 years of going to Carnival has always been around making sure that we're in that house, getting our jollof, and then coming out. She'll always come to the Blue Bridge, the Blue Bridge in Grove. She would stand there because they had a family friend that lived there. So we'd always stand at the Blue Bridge. She'd always do her little dances, and like there's so much memory and emotion attached to that. So I think there's a little bit of thing me going to Carnival now. It's a bit mad. But yeah.
Yvonne says, I had a standoff with two youths a few years ago. They were getting lippy because the police was holding the crowd back, and one of the boys punched me in the back. Wrong move as I punched him back. Lord.
Yo!
Those are the bits of Carnival I hate, is, you know, like when they stop you going through places, when they're locking things off.
Yeah.
From like 6:30, and then you kind of all get kettled in certain areas. That I absolutely hate.
Yeah.
I hate all of that shit. That's why Sundays, I prefer Sundays anyway, because there's less of that. But generally, if I'm going Carnival, I try and leave at like 6.
I'm a stop out. I like to be at Carnival and be in the mix. Just don't like the nonsense. But like I said, as I've got older, for the first time, was it last year that I said I got nearly? Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was last year.
Last year, me getting stuck, I literally genuinely feared for my life. Yeah. I was really, really scared. And I've never, Carnival, even if I see shit kick off, I'm just like, let's go this way, let's do that. I don't get scared like that in Carnival. I was frightened.
But even looking at the footage of Labatt Grove and it was how tight that was, and you can see the different sways of people trying to move in one direction to the other direction. And that's all caused by the police.
By the police, because it's like, why do you want? Because another thing that would happen was like you've blocked off all the sides, so you've got people. No one is going one way. No, so you've got people coming from the top, from the bottom, like, and merging in the middle. Everybody was trying to go. It's stupid. You have to. I understand there's residential and stuff like that, but you have to let the side roads. People broke the barriers because it was. I was literally like, I can't breathe, I can't move. Then you got some boys that were starting to argue. It's like anything happens.
Yeah. Well, that's where the boy got stabbed.
Yeah. It was literally just before Labatt Grove tube station, because it was horrible.
No, it's those things where, and I did see the map, and the route is smaller again. So they've cut off even more of the side roads to it as well. So there's they
want something to happen, and this is why
absolutely do. They do want something to happen.
I don't want to be part of that experiment, because you're right. If like trying to get back to it's not good. That's not good. That's the part.
Yeah, I think they absolutely are doing their best to get it cancelled. They're just waiting for that stampede to take place, and then they can totally be like, governmentally, we can't get this sanctioned. Like, it's now it goes against all health and safety. It's not safe, and then they'll put it into Hyde Park like they've wanted to do for years, and they'll have their way. But definitely, the police are doing shit to make sure that some type of stampede takes place.
Because also, then if that be the case, then it's weird. It's very, very strange. I mean, I get it, but it's weird that this is a tactic. Because why would you make the route smaller?
Exactly.
Like, why would you make the route smaller? And knowing that what happened last year was bad.
Yeah. Last year was just sheer luck that nobody died through a stampede, and it was the stabbing that took place. But it could have been crazy. Because watching it, I was like, that's like one bit away from it. Or it just takes, a couple of people to be panicked and start really shoving through that crowd, and it's long. It's over. Because
I felt that fight or flight thing, and you got nowhere. Because I thought it was my fault, kind of, because I thought I could cross Labatt Grove. I've done that before. But and then you think even being safe by the floats, because I've got the ropes, even that was a done out. You couldn't even find refuge by a float because there was too many people. Even the floats couldn't, unless you were on the float, you weren't even protected by the floats. Yeah,
crazy. Yes, let's see.
But anyway, so that was our guys. That's our news and nonsense. It is 11:30.
3 hours you've had us. One day we will do. We've got to do a YouTube 24-hour marathon. Like, everybody's channel does it once. It's like it's a rite of passage.
Okay. Do you remember when Channel 4 did the live rave and it was all night? Yeah. It was a marathon. I swear I watched every last drop. You know me already.
That's what I'm saying. All of these things, I love those. Now, I've watched somebody's 24-hour. Obviously I wasn't up with them all the time, but whenever I kind of went on the computer, I checked back in to see, like, are they really still streaming for 24 hours? But they did it in a rotation. There was lots of different people involved in it. But yeah, no, it's fun to do. Let's see.
Yeah. Someone's asking for a funny story. You lot are trying it. You're trying to keep us.
It's always Yvonne, you know.
I know.
I'm telling you, it's always Yvonne.
Okay, there's a story here which is ridiculous. Oh my God. Okay, I need to show you this.
As long as it doesn't involve spiders.
No spider, but it's a bit of a mad picture. A woman who said her husband chained her to a tree for 40 days tied herself up.
Have you put the picture in the thing?
It's not a nice picture. Hold on, let me save the picture. It's not a nice picture though.
Ronald said, "You will never get this down to less than 2 hours."
Ronald, that sounds like a curse.
Thank you, Jay.
I can't see. Hold on.
Yvonne, I know what you're up to. I know when
I know. Find this funny story. And you know me, I'm the sucker for being asked to do things. There's this one. It's what's it called? Lalita Kai Kumar. That one. And then I'll read the story. It's not a nice picture, guys. Good
grief. Well,
it's not a nice picture. Anyway, so Layla Kai Kumar, 50, was found in a forest near Sonorli village, about 280 miles from Mumbai, 10 days ago. She was discovered after a local shepherd heard her cry for help and was taken to hospital where she was treated for dehydration. First, she was unable to speak, so she communicated with writing messages on a notepad. She said she accused her husband of leaving her in the forest for 40 days. However, police have told the BBC that she has now admitted that she is not married and now she's getting psychiatric treatment. And police say she's probably suffering from hallucinations. And apparently she purchased the locks and chains and tied herself to the tree after being distressed because her visa had expired and she's running out of money. She's from America.
What in the hell? What? She tied herself up to a tree for 40 days.
She's from Massachusetts.
No way. That's what? Oh my God. Wow.
Is that good enough for you, Yvonne?
Supermalt said, sounds about white.
100% behavior. I've had enough of life. What I'm going to do is take myself to Mumbai or take myself to India and tie myself to a tree.
What in that? Yeah. I mean, she's not well is an understatement. I don't know what type of wow. Wow. I don't know. I do not know.
But a lot of shit's got to be going on when you're like, fuck it, I'm going to India to tie myself to a tree, not tie, lock myself to a tree. A man found her because he heard her crying. She was found emaciated. Her passport says she's from Massachusetts. What's going on in Boston, Ming?
What's happening? Oh my God. Kiki said this American isn't claiming her.
Listen.
Destiny said, how did you find these stories?
You said I Googled weird stories and that's what came up. There's a world out there. I used to have to, when I was a producer for BBC, one of the BBC radio stations, we had to look for kind of odd stories. So I got oh my God, there's something nasty. I got very adept at looking for strange stories.
An administrator is asking, where's the humor?
All right, guys, this is one that's stupid. It's not funny, but it's stupid. Did you not see the watermelon that they tried to smuggle in as drugs? How bait it was. Did you see that story?
No.
Hold on. Here. Hold on, I'm going to put it in a group. I mean, not in the group, in the let me upload it. Look at this picture of the watermelon that they tried to smuggle in. So basically, let me find myself. I've got so many damn things open now. So a shipment of watermelon, methamphetamine disguised as a shipment of watermelons was seized at the US-Mexico border in San Diego.
I mean, how stupid. Oh my God, that is a nonsense.
I saw it the other day, I was like, listen, the methamphetamine, let me just say meth, was valued at more than $5 million, was found August 16 when the cargo aboard a tractor trailer from Mexico was unloaded for a detailed inspection. Among real watermelons, officers found 1,220 packages wrapped in paper colored to look like watermelon skins. Like, what the frick? That is stupid. That is stupid.
Exactly. It's just a carrier bag. Like, it's so stupid. Oh my God.
No, exactly. Foolishness. How?
That has to be exactly. See, the dumbest drug smugglers. Like,
how?
Come on.
She knows, like, and it would be another day. If you didn't do that another day, you would have gone through with your drugs. How?
Okay.
There you go, guys. You laughed and we're done. That has been news and nonsense. Don't forget, we'll be back. We're going to take a week off because you guys are going to be in another country and I'm going to be with my film festival. So tell them what's going on.
We're in Malaga. There is a competition running on our page right now. You can sign up. All you got to do is tag your best friend and you could win VIP tickets to come to Malaga. The tickets are for the festival. You still need to fly to Malaga unless you already live in Spain. But you can win tickets to come to the festival. It's called Image Festival. It's going to be at the Forum in Malaga as well. And we will be there from Thursday until Sunday. So that means that I can't do Friday because I'll be in the festival. And then AK has her film festival.
So for me, I can't go. So I'm so gutted to not be with my pod sisters when they're going to Malaga. I'm so jealous, but at the same time, I have commitments, and I'm also very excited about the Seoul Film Festival. So those of you who are in London who can't go to Malaga, who want something to do, Seoul Film Festival is running from Thursday in Birmingham. We're doing one special day in Birmingham on Thursday the 29th, but then the festival kicks off at the BFI South Bank from Friday the 30th until Sunday the 1st of September. We are showing Sing Sing, a beautiful film starring Coleman Domingo about a play that takes place in a prison. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. And if you love Coleman Domingo like I do, you know he turns a brilliant hand. We're also going to have in the country Jussie Smollett and Vivica A. Fox on the Saturday showing his new film, The Lost Holiday. We are going to have him in town on Saturday at the BFI. We're going to have a Q&A with him and Vivica Fox. And we've got our shorts program on Saturday. And then we've got a special...
Is there still tickets available to
There's still tickets available. Let me get this. I'm not involved. I plead the fifth. I want Jussie to come to our festival and please book your tickets if you want to come down and if you want to see Jussie Smollett. Yeah. I'm not speaking about that super malt.
So then we will be back
the week after.
Yeah. So next Friday, no show. Sunday, obviously, we're all still away. And then next week, we'll be back.
All righty. And Farrah's back, so she might be joining us next week or the week after. Good night. Have a wonderful... Is he rehabilitating his... I think so. I haven't seen the film yet. I hope it's good. I think it will be. I will say no more. I'm excited to see him and meet him and see what I can get out of him myself. Have a wonderful bank holiday, everybody.
Yes. And if you don't have a bank holiday, just enjoy your weekend.
Enjoy your weekend and be safe.
Please.
Eat your vegetables.
See you next week. For all you Labrishers, we're back on Monday. So see you Monday.
Bye.